take your pants all the way off when you go to the bathroom?
I mean, enough to be important.
What does that mean? Yeah. All right, episode 17. God, episode 17.
1-7.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
In case y'all have not noticed, we are down a member. Fluffy is dead.
And we killed him.
Sorry, we can't. It's just things happen. No, Fluff is currently out of town. We are recording this the week that GDC is happening. And so
Game Developers Conference.
I think we talked about it once on here.
Probably.
I think we mentioned it once. But yeah, he's currently in California, living it up, having fun at that. I really want to go to GDC at some point.
I would say, you've been?
I've never been to GDC.
Really?
I have never been to GDC.
Wow. It is fun.
I've never had the money to go to GDC. Now I do. Actually, honestly, I probably have had the money to go, but I was always looking at like an attendee pass.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I've never had the money for that. And thinking about it, I don't even want to go for that really anymore.
Fair enough.
I just want to go hang out in California for a little bit. So
I mean,
might
the
do that next year.
last time I went, it was basically footed by my company,
right?
Essentially. And I think I'm trying to remember if the time before that it was too, but I don't think it was.
Mm-hmm. I think, my company has sent 2 employees this year, and apparently they're going to be trying to rotate that around every year. So I will probably end up going that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe some other conferences, because I know they were like, I was talking with the VP. He was like, yeah, we want to send, we were like looking at stuff like GDC or maybe like CES. Is that the one? Consumer Electronics Show.
Mm-hmm.
I even put in his ear like, hey, what about like
SeaGraph. Yep.
And it was like, that'd be some really cool. And so I might get an opportunity to go out to some stuff. Maybe if like Epic does another event, probably convince them to let me go out to that too.
Yeah.
Or send somebody out to that, and hopefully it gets to be me. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to go to SeaGraph next year. Try to get my company to send me next year.
Really, that's what I'm gonna be working on this year. Is getting us to send somebody to SeaGraph and hope that's me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that ought to be fun. So Fluff's gonna be living it up there. Meaning it's just gonna be a little intimate episode between me and you, sir.
Yay!
And Izzy. I'm
just here to watch.
He's the voyeur.
He's always behind that camera, grinning ear to ear, waiting for us to mess up.
Yeah. Man. So yeah, this is gonna be first time we're gonna be down a member since we started the show.
Yeah.
But it ought to be a fun time. Shouldn't be too bad.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a little shorter because of it.
Maybe a little shorter because of it. Unfortunately, no manhua or mangua this week. But that'll just mean that we'll have extra next time he gets back. He doesn't know that, but we'll tell him to have more. We'll do a quadruple feature next week.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just be gone next week.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. We'll just even it out, you know?
Yeah, and then we'll have a quadruple Quora insanity when he gets back. Okay, I'm going to start this one out with a Reddit. This was posted in r/relationship advice. And it's interesting because when I read you the title, what I read from the title and my actual conclusion from it is going to be a little interesting, but there's some other stuff to me. I'll just go on and read it. I'm going to also kind of truncate some of this because it is like a lot of extra detail that doesn't really need to be here. So I'm going to say that
all of that?
Yeah, this is screenshotted from the original post.
Jeez. There's like 4
post,
pages of text here, guys.
Yeah, the original post was taken down because of violated some rule about getting moral judgment calls, which is weird.
Of course it did.
It's just weird because so the title is, my fiance wants to become a trad wife after our wedding, and I am tempted to call off the wedding as a result. Should I call off the wedding? Apparently asking should I questions is against that subreddit's rules. But yeah, so
this was after what? What was the title? She wanted to be a trad wife after
their wedding. So they're not married yet, or at least when they were writing this, they weren't married at the time. Female 27, male 29.
Okay.
This is written from the groom's perspective, right?
Right.
I am a 29-year-old male, and my fiance is a 27-year-old female named Kate. Using a throwaway because Kate is also an avid Reddit user. And there's an issue with their future together. I have been with Kate for 4 years, engaged for 1, and due to get married this coming July. I do love Kate and can't wait to spend the rest of my life with her, but lately she has been becoming serious about becoming a trad wife. If for y'all who don't know, trad wife is a truncation of traditional wife. It is something that's kind of come into vogue recently. This post does get into it, but basically think of your I Love Lucy's, your I Dream of Jeannie, your Bewitched, like those old time, like 1950s, and the role that like housewives played then.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming back into vogue. So there's an actual, if you can call it a movement, however much movements actually mean in the social media era, but there's been a movement for like women to like really want to live that lifestyle again. So he goes into a bit of backstory. The gist of it is, they're a modern Zennial couple. They live their late 20s. They live in a pretty high cost of living area.
Mm-hmm.
They make decent money, but not like fantastic money. They don't. He goes on for like a paragraph about basically they make enough money to live, but not enough money to support off a single income.
Mm-hmm.
And also the reason she wants to be like, they also don't have the kind of living situation in which her being a stay-at-home wife would even be like necessary. Because she was like, it was like the whole trad wife thing is like completely take care of the home, completely like all the cooking, all the cleaning, all that fun shit. Like she takes care of all of that. And he's like, we live in like a fucking 2-bedroom high rise. We get this shit done in like 2 hours every weekend. What are you doing during the week? Like,
Is anybody looking for a trad wife?
is anybody looking for a trad wife? Right? Now for the issue. Shortly after New Year's, Kate and I were just chilling out on the couch after a work day when Kate brought up a post-wedding life and mentioned the idea of becoming a trad wife after marriage. I had never heard of this before and asked her what that was. She explained that it meant traditional wife, and it was a wife that stayed home, looked after the household chores, including cleaning and cooking, and more importantly, looked after the husband by attending to his needs. I said that sounded like a housewife, and she said it was more than just a normal housewife because a trad wife does everything herself to look after the home and husband without any paid work. I mean, he goes on to say, this still sounds like a housewife to me, but whatever. I was thrown off guard by this, as Kate has never shown any desire of just staying at home before. The only time it was discussed was in relation to kids, when she said she was happy being a stay-at-home mom. He says mom, and I'm guessing this is like in the UK, because he also says some other stuff later on that makes it sound like UK slang.
Mm-hmm.
Being or at least either UK or Australian, being a stay-at-home mom for when our kids were young, because on her salary, we'd probably be paying more for childcare anyway, which is true. I've known couples like modern couples that like were literally became like one of them became a stay-at-home parent literally because like the cost of childcare just offset the cost of both of them working, and it was like one of us may as well just stay home then. Lost my spot. Shit. Oh, more to the point, the idea of her just staying home all day cleaning and cooking is a bit strange to me when we live in a small place. Between the two of us, we can clean the whole flat in half a day. It takes me about half an hour to vacuum and mop all floors, for example. When I self-processed that I thought she was joking, I don't think he meant self-processed, but I don't know what word he would have put here. So I'm just going to say when I brought up that I thought she was joking, but she was dead serious. I'm going to reread this sentence and just fucking edit it. I thought she was joking, but she was dead serious. I was then very surprised and asked her what made her suddenly desire to just stay at home and not work. To my shock, she said TikTok of all things. Apparently, there are videos and TikTokers that are these trad wives that talk about how great the lifestyle is and how happy their marriages are. These trad wives claim that their husbands are always happy and home life is the best. So Kate wants that for us too. I told her that it wouldn't make me happy. It makes no sense. We live in a small flat that requires little upkeep. We have no kids for her to stay at home with. And most importantly, we can't afford it. Again, I understand her income isn't great, but it isn't pitiful, and it does help maintain our current lifestyle, which isn't that glamorous to begin with. She gave a non-committal shrug, and I thought that was the end of it. He basically goes on to say that she keeps going on about it, and she is like increasingly more adamant about doing this, and her only reason being she saw it on TikTok, and that was enough for her to like get all on board with the trad wife lifestyle. He describes some things about it, the stuff I've already described about what trad wives are. Says she becomes a little obsessed, and is getting clothing for like this trad wife lifestyle, which is like, from the sounds of it, is like the aprons and like the weird dress things to wear. Like she's going the full 9 on this shit, and he's like, I'm not about it. I don't know how much more I can take. I can tell Kate how much I am against this. And like, he straight up at this point, he has straight up told her that he's just against it. Like, he does not want to do this. I don't know how much more I can tell Kate how much I am against this, and it's falling on deaf ears. As a result, I am seriously reconsidering our relationship. Kate has always worked, and while I don't expect her to be a ball-busting career woman, I don't want this as an alternative. I want an equal partner, and this trad wife thing doesn't seem equal. It seems creepy and finished in the 1950s for a reason. Should I call her off the wedding? I am honestly at a loss to what to do. Kate seems committed to doing this trad wife thing, and I am just not. My best mate tells me now that I've reached the point of not wanting to get married anymore, that I at least need to really sit down with Kate and tell her straight up where my head is at. But I've tried to talk to her before, and she doesn't budge. Any help would be appreciated. That was, as I was reading it, I was kind of shocked at my initial response to it, because as I was reading it, I was like, clearly a conversation is in order here. But it seems like that conversation's happening. But my clarification for Kate would be, is this a life you want to start immediately after I do? Or is this a life you want to build up to? Because that would change how I approach this entire situation.
Yeah.
Me personally, I also don't want to try to wife. That's a weird old standard. I was raised in with traditional roles in mind, but like, I do not really adhere or subscribe to traditional like gender roles and marriage roles and shit. But I'm also like, that means like, I'm not really against it either. Like, if that is really what my wife wants to do, I don't know if there was a possibility of me and my future wife sit down and go, she goes, I would really like this lifestyle. I really want to be like a stay-at-home wife. I want to just be able to take care of the home. If I could go, you know what? I make more than enough money to support this household on just my income alone. We have enough money left over from that income to like proper savings and vacations and live like a lifestyle that we both find comfortable. I don't think I would be super against it if that's something she was willing for us to work up to.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if I'm looking at the trajectory of my career, I can see myself making enough money to support this idea of yours, and we can work up to it. If you're cool with me working up to it, and this is not something you want instantly, then okay, I would be a lot more receptive to the idea.
Yeah.
At that point. But to go, we're in a situation where this ain't happening, and go, I want to do this as soon as I say I do, and we're supposed to be getting married this July. You might just have to call off the wedding, bro.
Yeah, it's funny to me seeing some of these Reddit posts and people being like, I know what to do, but tell me what to do.
Right?
Like, I know I have to talk to her, but tell me what to do. It's like, oh, talk to her and then do the thing you said you might have to do if it doesn't go the way that you're wanting it to go.
Right.
You know, like, you kind of know what to do, and you're just going to hear the same answer from most people, because it's a reasonable way to go about it, especially if you're feeling that way.
Right.
Right. For me, it's like, I'm pretty much on the same, line of thinking as you with the whole traditional wife and everything. Like, I think, of course, that has to be a conversation, and it has been a conversation that I've had with my fiance about, okay, what would our roles be after we get married? And we both looked at the situation of the society right now, and it's like, okay, economically speaking, it's going to be impossible for us to live comfortably,
right,
on even just my salary.
Right.
Right. So it's like, okay, and my salary isn't great, really.
Right.
But it's like, even then, it's like, okay, we need to both work
Yeah.
and save in order to be able to get to the point where we two, just us, we're living somewhat comfortably. But then there's kids.
Yeah.
And then it's the fact that we really want a house, but we're probably going to have to get an apartment.
Right.
And hope the bubble pops.
They're supposed to have been popping for the last fucking 3 years.
Yep, but it still hasn't for some godforsaken reason. Like, there's just so much going on in society right now to the point where the idea of a traditional wife or a traditional, I don't know, maybe not traditional, but like a wife that doesn't work or a husband that doesn't work or whatever that situation is, the society is to a point where that's almost impossible to do unless one of them is making buttloads of money.
You have to be. Like, you actually have to.
Like expendable money that
Right.
you can technically be throwing away. That's the only way
that you can make something like this work.
in today's society.
Exactly. Like,
It's disappointing and very sad.
It,
and
like,
discouraging.
I would love to be in a position in which I could have a trad wife.
Yeah,
Not that I would love to have a trad wife, but to have the income to support a trad wife, right?
right. It's like it would be a great idea.
Right.
Like, honestly, if I had the money to not have to worry about stuff,
Yeah.
you know, like none of us had to worry about anything, then we could kind of do what we wanted.
right?
But that's not the case.
Right.
And it's, I don't know, it's even in today's society where it's like, okay, in the traditional household, you have the wife staying at home, but then you have the husband going out to work.
Right.
Nowadays, the husband in this traditional setting wouldn't necessarily have to go out
Yeah.
to work because you can work from
You
home
can
now.
just work from home.
So it's like the husband is home
Right.
while the wife is also home.
Yeah.
And if the husband's job doesn't require him to constantly be at the computer or the desk or whatever, and he can kind of get up and do whatever, then he can also help out with some of the household stuff. So it's
Right.
like, honestly, the way society is working nowadays, especially after 2020 and COVID and everything, it was already kind of like this, but especially now,
Right.
the whole traditional thing is almost only practiced as a, let's just, you know, it's not practical.
It's not.
It's
No.
not practical, but you could still do it if it works for you. But in today's society, it's just not practical.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have enough money that's an option, then she probably doesn't need to work anyways, really.
Exactly. Like,
Right.
Like,
You could hire somebody else.
or it's like
to
if
take
she
care
really
of
wants to,
unless
sure,
that's
you can.
like just what she wants to do.
Right. So it's like,
And that's where the weird part is, where it's like, I guess weird, not weird, but you know, that's where that comes in, where it's like, okay, you want to do this. And
Yeah.
so you want to make the home a happy place. You want to make your husband happy. You want to do these things. That's nice and that's great. But again, as logical thinkers,
Yeah.
you know, like there's a whole thing about, you know, men think logically and women think like whatever it is, right?
All that bull.
Regardless of who thinks what, you can't look at society today and be like,
Yeah.
oh, we can live off of one,
Right.
you know.
There's people that can. There's people that can. But with this specifically, it's like you specifically cannot.
Right.
Like you and your husband, your soon to be husband, is not making the money to make that work.
Right.
And you have to not be Delulu enough to understand that. Like, and that's what he's trying to get her to understand is like, we don't make that kind of money.
Right.
Your income is not supplementary. It is going into keeping our lifestyle the way it is. And we don't live a luxurious lifestyle as is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think it goes, and like what you were saying about like, just, you have to be real about the situation that we're in. It's the thing of like, and there's the amount of men, like, it's maybe I say the amount of men, this is based off like shit men say in, I almost want to say social media, but very specifically podcast settings. You've probably seen these where it's like group of like 8 men sitting around, want to be Andrew Tates and like,
oh yeah,
Kevin Samuels and shit, about what they want and how they want their wife to be, like this traditional woman. They're looking for traditionals. Like, sir, you don't make the money for that to happen.
Right.
When you are making more than you to really have something like that, for all the bullshit you want your wife to be, to take this shit back to the 50, for you to have this trad wife, you need to be making $250K or more per year at minimum. You are not supporting not even including kids, because I know you motherfuckers want kids, to support just a 2-person household and live some type of comfortably. You need to be making $250K a year minimum. We are 3 full-grown ass men making nearly, collectively, we make almost $300K a piece. Sorry, a piece. I was like, wait, no. Wait a minute, wait. Collectively, and the whole oxymoron.
I wish.
I do wish. No, collectively as a household, we're bringing in less than $300K.
Yeah.
And like, we live pretty comfortably, but like, and obviously like, we're not pooling our money like that, but we all live pretty comfortably individually, but none of us are like living with a significant other and supporting that household and the children on top of that would come along with a traditional family role, right? It's like I hear that stuff and I'm like, you motherfuckers are absolutely delusional if you think that you're fucking however much you make as whatever fucking factory worker, even if like, and not to fucking shit on anybody's job. I have nothing against if you're whatever job you work, as long as it's honest work, I'm fucking commending it. But if you're gonna like take these like wild ass takes, at least be able to know that you can actually support it. Because if you ain't making bank, you ain't pulling a traditional household, and you wanting a traditional woman when you can't support a traditional lifestyle, it's fucking dumb. Yeah, that's just dumb.
Right.
But
But this is a bit of a slippery situation because it's not the dude that wants the trad wife.
In this situation, this is the wife who wants to be a trad wife, which in and of itself, and a lot of the comments, one of the big thing that everybody in the comments, both on the original post and the reposting of it, that they all kind of like latched onto, which is a big thing, is at 27 years old, she's not even like a young woman. Like, she's not even in like that, oh, I was young and dumb like scenario. At 27 years old, this girl has completely obsessed her life around a lifestyle she got from TikTok. Like, come on, man. Like,
I feel like 27 can be a transitional period.
There's transitional periods. I will agree that it can be a transitional period. It's a medical anomaly.
I mean, I guess you have to define what a transitional period kind of is then, because it's like
still learning things about yourself, I'm sure.
In this scenario, I guess I could see like a transitional period being going from single and like maybe engaged to married. Like maybe that's like a transition where like the way you think pretty much changes from a me to a we type of thing. Or unless you're talking about a singular one person self.
I'm assuming more like mental puberty.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a quarter life crisis or something.
I guess that could be the deal too. Quarter life crises are a thing. I guess they can be a thing. Honestly, I can almost say that the starting of this podcast was a bit of a quarter life crisis. I can't even fault you for that. So that is fair. But still, to take your cue, to make that kind of a decision based off just seeing it on TikTok, to the point that you won't even see reason when your fiance is like, here's why we just can't do that. Like, I think that people have latched onto that, and like I do agree with them on like, dog, if anything, you should be worried that she's this obsessed about it after seeing it on TikTok a couple times.
Yeah.
And you don't even know, like, has she been scrolling this for months on TikTok, like, exclusively?
As a trend, it's only been around for a few months, which I guess, it's very possible she could have been.
Yeah.
She could have just gotten, like, sucked into this big time.
Which is also very possible. We've seen the effects of different areas.
It's like the same thing with woodworking, just...
Fair.
Differently problematic.
I feel like the difference, I guess, I feel like
Honey,
the difference,
I'm buying a bandsaw and a table saw and a router and...
I guess, yeah. That's fair. Because I was gonna say, like, it's one thing to pick up and realize, like, man, that's a really cool hobby to do and start getting into. There is a whole different thing in like the financial aspect of like diving head first in as if you've been a woodworker for years.
Yeah.
For this thing you've never tried before.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, in that same situation, I would look at that dude and go, I would look at his wife and go like, you need to get that motherfucker therapy. Like, there's something wrong when you're jumping in. Like, it's the part of the adamant stance on doing it with no back down when it's like confronted with reality.
Yeah.
That is like the most worrisome part about this, and will be worrisome in that aspect too.
Yeah.
Of like anything you do in which is going to put you in essentially financial ruin, and you refuse to accept the reality that you just are not in a position to do that, and come hell or high water, you're gonna do it. That's more worrisome to me.
Mm-hmm.
But
did he say what they do as a job?
He does. In that paragraph I skipped, actually, he says he earns an average salary working in accounting. She earns an okay salary as a full-time store manager for a popular clothing chain. Once again, I'm fairly certain they're either. He mentioned something about banger and on, which I have heard that phrase before, and I can't remember if it was from a UK YouTuber or an Australian YouTuber, but it was definitely something non-American.
Bangers and mash.
Well, I know the food, but no, as that specific verbiage, banging on about shit. So I don't know what the economic situation that they're in, but it sounds not much different than most Western economic situations right now.
Yeah.
So like they're not in like, it seems like they're both in situations where career growth is not really happening and is going to happen at like the speed in which is going to be able to support this lifestyle anytime soon.
Right. Like I could see them like revisiting this whole conversation, maybe, if he 5 or 10 or something like that years after some advancement, some raises happening, salary increases.
If he was like an associate level engineer and like had just like started his career in that or something like that or anything like that, I would be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe it doesn't have to be it's going to be a no right now, but maybe like tell her like, hey, we can like revisit this in the future. Right. Mm-hmm. I think anybody should always be in the position of looking for some kind of growth in their life. But in this particular situation, and it's like, if it's not really going to get much better than this for both of us, like, no.
Yeah, hard break on
hard nah. But yeah, most people, like most of the comments are really like, dog, at the very least, pause your wedding because you need to have like a serious conversation.
Yeah. Or have that conversation now.
I would say have that conversation now.
Figure it out, and then figure out whether you need to cancel the wedding,
right,
or continue with it with a plan, like knowing what's happening after the wedding, after you say I do.
Right.
Right.
Because like
definitely find out what's happening after the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I would almost say you gotta just straight up tell her that maybe this ain't for us. Like that might shock her into reality.
But I mean, if she didn't come up with the idea of being a trad wife until like now,
right?
Then I don't know. I feel like that's a little maybe unfair to him to expect him to be okay with that.
Right.
While you know that y'all got a wedding coming up in like a couple months. It's
exactly.
like, oh, by the way,
I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
I know we had this plan, but I want to change that plan now, and it's going to greatly affect our lives.
Not even plan. It's like this established relationship dynamic. Like we already have this established home dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Now, if it's something they hadn't talked about until like now, then that's another problem.
Which it seems like it's more of a they hadn't talked about it, so the easy assumption was this is kind of like how this is just going to be as we go forward.
At least she didn't bring it up after the wedding.
Yeah, at least she didn't be like, oh yeah, I quit my job.
Oh, by the way,
Why did you quit your job? Oh, because I'm going to be a trad wife. I could have sworn I told you about this. No.
Like trad wives is a whole lifestyle that needs a monetary support behind it that we don't have. What do you mean?
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, like, yeah, that's. I want, and it's weird because when it comes to like Reddit posts, I'm usually not like a benefit of the doubter kind of person. I want so bad to give her the benefit of the doubt and go, maybe she's not as weird, but no, she's being as weird and obsessed about this as at least the way he's writing it.
I was gonna say the way that he's
explaining it, it definitely has to be like weird and upset.
It's a little dire. It's a little dire.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just a weird one.
Yeah.
Here's a little short Reddit thing that came across. The only reason I pulled it up is because I got a reminder about it. Little from r/shower thoughts. Have you ever been on r/shower thoughts?
I haven't really surfed Reddit like that.
Do you know what a shower thought is?
But yes.
It's a Reddit of that.
Yeah. I mean, after you said it, I was like, oh, I guess there would be a Reddit subreddit about that. I guess that makes sense.
This person's shower thought was, people assume future archaeologists will be idiots for all the scenarios they will fail to interpret. Like, have y'all ever seen, there's a lot of times where it's like, I'm trying to think of a good example, but it's like, fucking some random bullshit. I'm trying to think, there was some event that happened that like it generated a bunch of trash or some shit or like a bunch of flyers for it. And people are like making memes. Like they'll make memes like, imagine future archaeologists seeing X and thinking
like
that
memes and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Or like imagine future archaeologists, like it's memes, but it's like one of those like half, like you have to wonder if people are actually thinking it all the way through type shit. But it's like, because the meme always comes from something very topical. And it's always like, imagine future archaeologists finding whatever the fuck and thinking that this used to be like worshipped. And it's like, y'all know they'll have information like about the past. Like,
I mean, at this point, now that we've gotten to the point where we can actually document shit,
right?
And archive shit, I think at this point, archaeologists will just be able to go back.
They'll just be able to look up the information.
Yeah.
What happens if there's a solar flare and it wipes all our digital information?
Which is about the only scenario in which this becomes a problem.
Right.
Because like that's the comment I said. I was like, about the only way future archaeologists could come to the conclusions people think they will is if sometime between now and then civilization experiences a Library of Alexandria event on a total global scale. Like just the total wipe of all human knowledge has to happen, which also has to go with every backup of that knowledge has to also get wiped.
Right. Which all physical, cloud-based, digital, everything.
Right. Because I know a solar flare, because correct me if I'm wrong, a solar flare I know can knock out power, but can it erase data on electronics?
It's basically an EMP.
Okay, so it can fully like erase all that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, even then, I think we got bigger problems to worry about at that point in getting like civilization back on track.
Oh yeah, you're back to square one basically.
Right. But it's like at that point, I don't know if we ever get like, how long does it take after that total fucking wipe? How long does it take for us to get back to a point in society in which archaeology is back to a,
I don't know.
Concern.
I don't know, like even how long it takes for society to recover from that, like back
right.
to like.
Well, I mean, on a less intelligent plane of thinking, wouldn't a solar flare just like burn everything?
Not a solar flare. There are like super flares that can happen. That can absolutely. Funny enough, there was another Reddit I was reading earlier. That literally, do I have it in here? Oh yeah, what's a civilization ending scenario that most people aren't aware of? From Ask Reddit. I'm gonna read those next week. But that is this whole thing. Like shockingly came up, and people are talking about like super flares do happen, and they will vaporize like the surface of a planet if it does. And they apparently happen like.
Well, there's also like electromagnetic radiation coming from the sun all the time.
Oh,
but
all the time. Yeah.
our magnetic field protects us from it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's powerful enough, I think it
It could literally
Yeah.
disrupt the whole thing. and
I'm
just
thinking
break
of
through.
something like From the Knowing, if y'all know what that movie is, where it's like
Mm-mm.
literal. I think it's this movie where like literally like they're getting like alerts that oh snap, the sun is about to barf a solar flare across our galaxy and it's going to hit us and the Earth is going to end in like a week or something like
Right.
that. So y'all have like 7 days
To
essentially.
make right with whatever God you pray to.
Do they have
Yeah.
to like drill into the center of the sun and explode a nuke inside of it?
That seems like
No,
I don't think so.
Just checking.
That also seems like it wouldn't work.
Because this sounds
For a
like the
number of
plot
reasons.
of crap. It's probably called like Asteroid or something. I can't remember the name. I think is it Bruce Willis?
I think I know the movie you're talking about. I think it
They
is
like-
Asteroid.
They like hire this grizzled oil worker to drill a hole on an asteroid so they can nuke it.
Blow it up.
But anyways, what are they?
Well, yeah, no, I mean it came out a while ago. And I saw it in theaters, but like I remember it vividly because at the end of the movie, the solar flare hits, and it fucks everybody up. If you weren't in a shelter,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if like anybody survived at the end of it, but like the protagonist, I think died. And you saw them burn up graphically, and you saw all the buildings just go boo, 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 boo. It all exploded. That's what I'm saying. The earth exploded
So this
pretty
is,
much.
It's like a
Was it with
2012
Nicolas?
type of.
Yes.
It's a Nicolas Cage
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
50 years after it was buried in a time capsule, a schoolgirl's cryptic document falls into the hands of Caleb Kostler. Of course, this is a Nicolas Cage movie. The son of Professor John Kostler, Nicolas Cage. John figures out that the encoded message accurately lists every major disaster from the past 5 decades and predicts 3 future calamities. 1, a global cataclysm. When his warnings fall on deaf ears, John enlists the help of the prophetic author's daughter and granddaughter to try to avert the ultimate disaster.
They fail.
How do you fucking avert that? There really ain't much to be done here.
Yeah, they fail. I think if anything, they get some people in shelter and they might survive, but I don't know how they're going to live on planet Earth anymore.
I would
because
rather
that
be
shit is scorched.
I would not want to be that person. I would rather just be the person at ground zero. Just go on and take me the fuck out of this shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, actually, I think it ends very weird. It's all coming back to me now.
Really?
Oh, shit.
It's Nicolas Cage.
I need to
It is Nicolas
rewatch it.
Cage.
I need to rewatch it because if I'm remembering this clearly, spoiler alert, even though I spoiled it already, they're aliens, I think.
What the
Like-
fuck?
Like the planet like gets scorched, but then like they get saved by aliens, and then they're like, we're gonna start anew or some shit. I don't know, dude. It's very weird. It's a weird movie. Go check it out if you want to see some weird shit.
I'm looking at this fucking
The aliens are like, oh no, they're going extinct.
Pretty much. We're gonna restart the rebuilding of the human race, starting with you guys. You're the new Adam and Eve, basically. Go.
Sweet.
If I'm right.
No, that's fair.
I feel like I don't know. It was so weird, and I remember a lot of that ending vividly, and I just remembered this part.
I'm looking for the synopsis on IMDb. The fucking layout is really weird on mobile. There used to be able to find this. No problem. Up there it is. Let's see. Hither. We're just going to worry about that later.
What did you see?
It's as dumb as you said it. You're remembering correctly.
Okay,
sir.
all right. I wasn't crazy.
You're not. It's-
Yes. Okay.
Oh, that is the most Nick Cage bullshit I have heard in a long time.
Yeah, so that shit happens.
That shit happens. Oh my fucking Lord. Oh my goodness gracious.
So yeah, that's when you said solar flare. I had PTSD.
That's
of
right.
that
We were
movie.
talking about a Reddit post, weren't we?
Yeah. So I was like, wouldn't that would just burn everything up and die, and everybody would
Super
die.
flares could, yes.
Super
Solar
flare,
flares can range in their power and veracity.
Okay. That,
So I guess at that point, having a backup, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't
matter.
really do you any good, but also, other bigger fish to fry.
like the Earth.
Sharpening sticks.
Right? We have a few more things to worry about. Yeah, maybe fucking super far future, if humanity even lives that long, for there to be archaeologists at that point.
AI would take over.
Yeah, I would take over. Or whatever it starts the AM era. I have no mouth and I must scream. That era takes over.
Oh no.
God, we're edging closer to it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
Only thing I can hope is that I am no longer here to deal with it.
Fair enough.
Speaking of weird things to rewatch, I was reminded of something the other day, and I do wish Fluff was here because I'm going to make both of you. I'm going to make all four of you sit down and watch this with me. I found the videos I need for it. It's going to be like a fucking 3-hour epic, but I'm going to make y'all watch through Trapped in the Closet with me. The fucking R. Kelly.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
I have not watched all of them.
Good.
I haven't.
How many have you watched?
Okay, so this is actually funny. Me and my fiance had one night when we were just like, for some reason, wanted to listen to it. And I don't know why. I do not remember why.
Was it the other night?
No, it was
Okay.
it was almost like half a year ago.
Okay.
But like, we just started listening to the different parts, and we couldn't find all of the parts
I managed
necessarily.
to.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But like, we only found maybe like the first like 5 or 6 parts.
They are really hard to find. You
For
wanna know
some
why?
reason, why?
Because after he made the series, they were easy to find on YouTube, and then he went to jail for like a lot of sex crimes, and Vivo wanted nothing to do with that shit no more.
So
Oh.
this is the one I was thinking.
It's the one you're thinking of by R. Kelly, yeah, that guy.
What is it?
It's called Trapped in the Closet. So, I believe it started in 2005. He started making this like weird R&B. It's called a hip opera.
I did not know it was like 3 hours long though. That's wild.
Because there's now 33 fucking parts. So he starts off, it's this thing, and it was this big deal back in 2005. R. Kelly, the Pied Piper of R&B. We are going to get into the naming of that because that was a real bad name, especially in retrospect. But Pied Piper R&B, one of the best, like one of the greatest R&B singers, like alive. At least at the time, everybody considered him that. People still consider him that. The dude's a good singer. There's gonna be a whole thing about R. Kelly one of these days. I just know it. We're gonna have a whole thing about it. But dude,
Wait,
he's
so this is hard, but separating the art from the artist.
yeah.
Do you like his stuff?
Yeah. I like the songs he's done. Some of them are hard to listen to because the subject matter.
Oh, knowing what you know.
Knowing what we know now, it's like, ugh, that didn't age.
Oh boy.
Like
Yeah.
that aged like fucking milk. So some things are like that. Not everything of his is like that. And there's some things where I can like Trapped in the Closet. I am. This is in no way supporting of R. Kelly and what he did and what he continues to be punished for that he should be. It's really just, it's a thing that happened and I enjoy it. Like, it's hard to not enjoy it, especially if you know what Trapped in the Closet is, which Trapped in the Closet is this multi-part, basically it's a soap opera. It's a soap opera in full music form. And it starts out as a pretty like, I don't want to say normal drama, but it starts out as like a dramatic thing. It's pretty tame. And so he literally released it in parts. And so it was this big worldwide global release. I remember it vividly, to the day when it came out. But like it was released on BET, and so it released like parts. I think 1 through 3 got released first, and then like 4 through 8, and then it kept getting released in like chunks, up to I think initially like it only got up to like part 13. And these are like full songs, mind you. Like they're
I don't want to watch the first one right now.
I kind of want to.
Just so Izzy gets the idea.
What we'll do is we'll finish up with the episode,
And then we'll show
and
it.
then we'll keep the camera rolling, or we'll restart or whatever we got to do, and we'll like play a bit of it for you to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just don't want to deal with editing that in the
Fair,
middle of this
fair.
episode right now. Also, copyright is probably going to be really weird about that, so I kind of want to just have that as a
Fair.
separate thing altogether if I need to,
Yeah.
just for monetization purposes later on. But yeah, so it starts out pretty tame. It starts out with a story of him literally waking up in a bed that is not his. He wakes up in some lady's bed. She walks into the room. It's not his wife. Like immediately you find out this dude has slept with a woman that is not his wife. He barely remembers he was out at a club or some shit. He wakes up and he's like, I gotta fucking go. You're not my wife. Shit, I fucked up. This was also like coming from somebody who lives in the era of men don't get raped. Being drunk is not really a problem. Like you were out to have some fun anyway. So don't worry about any social context and stuff like that with this. Trust me, with R. Kelly, you shouldn't do that anyway. That's a whole different deal. He wakes up, and as he's getting ready to leave, she finds out that her husband is on the way home, and she pushes him in the closet, and that's why this whole series is called Trapped in the Closet, because it starts with him in the closet. So he gets pushed in the closet, and the rest of the first episode plays out with the husband comes in, the wife is acting super weird. The husband realizes she's acting weird and now realizes that she has a man in their apartment. And so all that bullshit ensues. The husband eventually finds out R. Kelly's in the closet, pulls him out of the closet. That becomes this whole thing of him like kind of fighting. R. Kelly's like, dude, I just want to fucking leave. Dude's like, oh, so we leaving now? Well, he's like, well, woman, guess what? I've been cheating on you too. And this is where shit, especially for 2005, you have to remember this was before like the liberal awakening of Rueben, and he started becoming like a little more like liberal thinking. So like I was still like in like the usual like inner city kind of black way of thinking. So this was the wildest shit to me. Is you find out the man's a pastor, has been cheating on his wife with the deacon from the church. He's been cheating on his wife with a man. And so that was the wildest shit. You find all this out in the first episode. Second episode continues with the wife now is angry at her husband because you've been cheating on me with the fucking deacon at our church. And he's like, bitch, you just cheated on me with a man in my car. She was like, bitch, that's a fucking deacon at our church. In which also he's been cheating first, apparently, throughout this whole thing. R. Kelly's like, fuck this, I'm going home. He gets home, gets to his wife. She's acting a little weird, but he's like, you acting kind of strange. She immediately wants to get him in bed. No, sorry. On the way home, he gets pulled over by a cop first. And the cop's just kind of a dick.
Right. Yep.
Cop's just kind of being a dick. He's like, because he's like, no, he gets in his car, calls his wife, and a man picks up. So he's racing to get home, gets pulled over by a cop for speeding. Cop lets him go. He finally gets home, busts in. He's like, woman, what the fuck? And she's like, don't you know my brother came home from prison today? And he's like, oh shit. Oh, that's right. So he just accepts that the brother answered the phone. And
But he was just being weird.
But he was just being weird. So the wife instantly wants to get him in bed, like they're trying to fuck. He pulls back a cover, and there's a fucking condom. And remember, all of this is being sung by R. Kelly. No other voices, just R. Kelly.
These are songs.
This is songs.
All singing.
All dialogue.
All
it's a musical, so all dialogue is being sung by R. Kelly, every part.
All narration, dialogue, everything.
All narration. So he finds that there's a rubber. Like one of the episodes ends with, oh my God, there's a rubber. It's fucking great. It's so great. He realizes this rubber. He's trying to get his wife to tell him, like, who the fuck? Like, you had somebody in my house, in my bed, like sleeping around on me. She kind of throws it back on him, like, I know you've been cheating on me. I know you went and go fuck another woman. So now they're both going back and forth. And then a dude walks into the house, and R. Kelly already has his gun out. And this part ends with him just shooting whoever walks through that door. The next part picks up.
Oh my God. Okay, wait.
I remember all this shit. I want to go through it so bad.
Wait, we gotta put a pause on it.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Are we gonna go through the entire thing?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I think that should be a
No, I
separate
mean right
whole
now.
episode.
Are you gonna
I can go through this whole
transcribe the entire thing?
Maybe I should watch it again and then transcribe it because I really want to. Because I can't play the parts at all for this shit.
I think we need to have a special where it is Rueben and the R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet retrospective.
I'm so down to do this.
Because I will be here listening to everything.
Yeah.
In that episode, but not tonight.
Okay, fair enough. What I wanted to get to, I started completely summarizing the story. What I want to get to is that every new event, every new reveal creates another reveal that's more ridiculous than the last reveal.
Okay. He's on a cliffhanger for each episode.
It's a cliffhanger that gets more and more ridiculous as the story goes on.
Huh.
It is, and I just found out that
and it makes you feel trapped in the closet.
It makes you,
like
because you're hooked.
In.
You are hooked.
Yeah. like you're listening into this person's business, and you're as if you're in the closet yourself.
The most ridiculous shit, and I fucking loved it. So I remember when it originally aired, because remember this was all like pre-YouTube, right? Like YouTube had just became a thing around from like 2005 to like 2007, I think, like episodes were airing. No, it was like the year of 2005. I don't even think we had managed to get through like 2006 by this point. You get like episodes 1 through like 15 or some shit because it was never a regular release. It was just like, don't scare me like that, man.
Got him.
It wasn't that you knocked it over. Your face made me think your water was open.
Oh,
yeah, that would have been bad.
Oh, it was like it dropping is okay. That's okay. Holy shit.
Got him.
Right, fuck off. But so yeah, he would drop basically clusters of it here and there, like just throughout the year. And so I remember it getting up to like episode like 15. And then it kind of dropped off for a while. And then I remember checking back in on YouTube and it had gotten all the way up to fucking episode 23.
dang.
And then, so I ended up watching all the way through episode 23. And that was when I stopped. And then all the shit with R. Kelly and all this stuff came out about that and that whole deal. And, Rueben went from teenage to adulthood. And here I am at 31. And someone, for whatever reason, is starting to make rounds on social media again, just like TikToks are just using the audio. And I heard a new one, and I was like, I don't remember that at all. Like, I don't remember that one at all. About a character named Pimp Lucius. And I think the character got introduced in episode like 22 or 23, which takes place in the church. That's a whole thing in and of itself. I was like, I remember that character, but I don't remember this fucking exchange at all. So I look it up, and it turns out there's a fucking 20, like they've gotten up to 33. Sometime in like 2000.
With R. Kelly still?
Yeah, so he did a stint in prison first. So before all this shit went down, he did another stint in prison, a different stint in prison, came out, and I guess they decided to just make more after that. And so they did.
I mean, if it was popular.
It was popular enough. Because then, you know what it was? It was after he pissed on that girl. That was the whole thing that went on. So it was the whole he pissed on the 15-year-old.
Yeah, well, that's...
I know, right?
Isn't that the incident?
That was one incident. There's a whole fucking... Have you not heard
What?
about the sex cult?
No.
Yeah, there's a lot. Will, there's a time we're going to get into R. Kelly one of these days.
I thought it was just the one time.
No, sir. There's a lot of things about R. Kelly. That man doesn't need to be free. But
they could have kept it in
there. There's a lot about he's back in there because of the new shit. And I think he's in there for a good long while now. But yeah, no, there was a lot that happened. So there was the pissed on the 15-year-old girl thing. Which I made it sound really flippant. Like the dude pissed on a 15-year-old girl.
That's fucked up.
Fucked up for sexual pleasure. Boondocks does a whole episode on it. It's really
Oh, really?
like there's the episode where like R. Kelly's on trial, and it really speaks to like how some people will really overlook some heinous shit just because like it's their favorite artist.
Just because they're famous or popular.
They're famous, popular, they make good music, whatever the fuck is like. Like people will create some like really ridiculous like arguments of like she was 15 years old, she's old enough to move out of the way. Like she didn't want to get pissed on, she wouldn't have been there. And it's like she's a child and this man was in his fucking 30s. Even if she wanted to be there, that doesn't stop the fact that this dude was doing sexual and lascivious acts on a fucking minor.
Right.
And has been doing this for years. Like,
right.
That's just the one that happened to get out. Like, there's a whole expose on that. But it's like, yeah, so if I sound flippant about it, I understand the gravity of that situation. I also fucking recognize the absurdity of it too. Like, that's an absurd thing to deal with. Like, the hottest R&B artist of like modern day at the time has gotten caught with a sex tape of him pissing on a 15-year-old girl. And it's like, it was one of those events. Like we love to meme about 2016 and 2020 and like this crazy shit that's happened since. Like,
it's just like one of those shocking things like Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
It just like out of nowhere.
Like, this is so out of fucking nowhere. What the shit is going on? So it's just like, there's just such an absurdity to it that makes it kind of hilarious, even though it is kind of fucked up. But yeah, so yeah, like after the pause, there was now more, and now it's up to episodes 33. I don't know if there is a conclusion to the story by episode 33. Because the part that I even got up to was actually pretty early on. I think it was like the first or second. So it was either episode like 22 or 23 or 24. I was skipping through to find the part. So I don't know what happens at the end. So that once we hit episode 23, that'll be all new territory for me.
Okay.
But it is going to be like a 3-hour ordeal that I'm going to force y'all through.
Hey, I'm
on
down.
Friday.
You won't be forcing me. I'll be willing.
Just got to wait for Fluff to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trapped in the Closet is a ride. I actually cannot wait to like watch that and then summarize it for this podcast. Like,
as I said, a whole separate episode, a retrospective. I'll be here for it.
That might straight up just be a bonus episode.
Yeah.
It might just straight up just be a bonus. Like as we watch it, I just want to like record after every few parts, summarize what happened, and then watch the rest. Oh my god, oh my goodness. But that will be actually fun. All right, I rambled the fuck on enough about my shit. We're gonna break. Actually, we could take a break. How long have we been going on the camera?
An hour.
Okay, yeah, we'll take a break. Then we'll get back to it.
So you just took your pants off in the bathroom over there?
Yeah. That's not weird. You take your pants off in the bathroom all the time.
Yeah, my own bathroom.
Is it weird to take your pants? How do you go to the bathroom in somebody else's bathroom without being comfortable with taking your pants off?
Do you take your pants all the way off when you go to the bathroom?
I mean, enough to be important.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, like, if you're going to be uncomfortable about taking your pants off part way, wouldn't you?
You may as well go the full way.
Like, wouldn't it be the same thing?
I don't fucking care. Like, I'm fucking with you mostly.
Yeah, but now I'm curious.
It's not like I take my pants all the way off every time I go to the bathroom.
Right, but it's like you got the zipper, right?
Feels good, man.
Because
I gotta take my pants off all the way every time I pee.
Feels good, bro. Like,
I mean, like, because I'm curious about this too, and this is, I don't remember talking about something like this, but it's kind of similar to what we were talking about before we started recording.
Yeah.
Like, of just like preferences.
That was a whole TMI conversation.
Oh, yeah, no, that one was. But like, preferences, right?
Yeah.
The way that our, men's pants, right?
Yep.
You got the zipper, right? You got the button.
This is true.
Right? And then you could just slide them down.
I think women's pants also operate this way in most cases, but sure.
In most cases, but not as many cases as...
I think we don't have as many. I think men don't have as many use cases as women do, is the way that would go. I think most jeans that women wear also are button and zip fly.
Really?
Yeah. Some of them end up being
What's
like...
the alternative?
all button, like a flight that's made of like just buttons. which
That's
is
what I
weird.
have.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that not convert? Did you convert it or
No, they came like that.
interesting?
I know there are some pants that do that rather than zipper, but
Yeah.
I didn't know how common it was.
I did not know that. But then beyond that, Izzy just showed us his dick. Since y'all didn't get to see that. But like
His hesitation, like he started to say something, and then he caught him so off guard. Oh, that's funny.
Oh man. But like beyond that is like usually just different styles of pants, which I would argue means like because men generally have jogging pants, jeans, which I guess now I know there's a second button style that I did not know men's jeans came with.
I guess I'm thinking more about jeans in particular.
Yeah, I think women's jeans generally do that. At least as far as I've never noticed.
Interesting.
I'm not looking all the time, but
I mean, yeah, I guess. Regardless,
right.
That's why I'm really sad these pants are wearing out because
Oh,
it's like a soup. I like the buttons for some reason, but it's super rare. Like,
I really want to complain about not being able to find pants and why clothing companies like swap their shit out all the time, but I'm not going to keep interrupting your story.
yeah, sorry.
no, you're good. Really, that was the thing though. It's like there's the zipper, the button, and then the option of just pulling them down. It's like, what's y'all's preference?
Oh, I'm just a zipper.
Just a zipper?
Just zipper.
Okay.
All buttons, obviously.
Okay, I guess with your pants, okay.
Yeah,
Are
fair
all your
enough.
pants like that? Like you don't have zipper?
I do have zipper pants, but I do like the all button ones.
Okay, so you
better.
prefer the
Yeah.
button.
Well,
Okay.
are you talking about when you go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you go to the bathroom, are you undoing all of them and like full fly open or
Pretty much.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like it. So for most of the time, if I'm like out and about, just zipper, pull through, right? If I have just gotten home and I'm gonna swap my pants out too, I will actually just go on full open it because I'm not gonna close them back up after that anyway. So, but most of the time, I don't want to fucking like fiddle with my goddamn belt.
Yeah, that's true. See,
Oh, weird. I always undo the belt.
you don't or you do?
I do.
You really?
Yeah.
So I'm actually like that too.
I say that I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, I just think that it's interesting because everybody kind of has a different like way to do it that we just never really think about. Honestly, I just been curious. I think I was asking myself this the other day. I was like, is this normal? But yeah, no. I typically would. I guess it depends on the belt because the belt that I wear right now is kind of like one of those like fabric belts that you can loop around like the buckles. It's not like
It's one of those belts that used to
regular belt.
come with. It's one of the few belts that will come with the type of pants they. You
Yeah.
get. Any dude
Is it?
will probably know this type of belt.
it's
Is
got
it-
like the two loops.
Two
Yeah, they look like
rings?
these.
The
yeah,
rings,
the
yeah,
rings
yeah,
that
yeah.
you
like
pull it
the-
through and cinch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those are pretty easy for me to just like undo, but I would like undo that belt and then I would undo the top button and then I zip down the jeans.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? And then flip it out. I sometimes will just do the zipper, but that always feels weird as if it's like constricting me.
Like
That could just
it's
be me,
like
though.
have you ever used the Y fronts on underwear?
All the time.
Really?
Are you
That's
talking
when
about,
I
like,
s-
are you talking about like the openings?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I say I only do zipper, that's what
was-
I'm like. I only do zipper and then white front that bitch.
You kind of have to if you're only doing the zipper.
I'm not skilled enough to like zigzag into there and get it out.
Yes.
It just seems like too much work.
Yes.
He gets.
I
guess though that depends on the
There's-
situation.
It
that
depends
you
on the
go
situation.
with.
There's times where I've had to go bad enough that, like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. Like, zipper and then just fucking yank that bitch. Like,
Yeah, no, like I'm pretty much the same way. Not because I got all that open. I just, whoop, right?
I don't know. Like, the freeing up of the other hand just makes it like I find so much more convenient because it means like I don't need to like hold the pants up at that point.
I mean, that's true.
And I think, I don't know, like that was, what developed that? How did that develop? Because I remember there was definitely like a very specific day where I realized that was even tech I could do in the bathroom.
Right.
Like,
and that's what I was thinking about. I was like, when did that transition happen where we were all pants at ankles?
Right.
And then suddenly, at some point, we realized that we didn't have to do that.
Wait a minute.
We could just unzip the pants and unbutton and then do the thing. But then it's like, okay, then is there a level where you realize that you could even do less than that and just unzip the pants? Like what is everybody's, level of comprehension?
Right. I can't level of cognition. When did you become sentient? Where did that happen for you? When did you gain consciousness? I couldn't tell you exactly when, but I can pretty much map out. I remember when it went from, as a child, just pants around ankles to all the way up. I'm fairly certain it was like one of the times like either we were on a road trip or we were off somewhere and like all of us, me, my dad, my older brothers and all that, we were like all in the bathroom, and I'm fairly certain I saw them not pull their pants all the way down, and I wanted to start to emulate that. I can pretty much summarize all of this up with I wanted to emulate somebody older than me. Like I wanted to emulate an adult. And so that's when I stopped like pulling them down. And then I remember specifically when I just started just using the fly, I was somewhere in like fucking high school. Like I was a teenager and I was like, wait a minute.
That's what that's for.
I guess I remember like very specifically it was like there was always the question of what is the hole in the underwear for? Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh, that is more convenient. But beyond that, yeah. And then I started wearing jogging pants and sweatpants way more, and I completely undid all of that.
Yeah. I'm surprised that you like kind of sort of remember that journey because I don't.
Really?
It's blank for me. I don't know when that transition happened from blank to whatever. Like, no, it just happened. I just started doing it a certain way. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you why, couldn't tell you how. I just do it this way for some reason.
That's fair.
And I don't know.
That's fair.
But I've always been curious to know if I was I figured I wouldn't be the only one, but like how common is this method? Is it like everybody's using the zipper and I'm just like the odd one out? Or is it still kind of okay to like
here's what we're gonna do.
And all that?
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get clipboards. We are gonna go to the rest stop out on fucking way out there, right?
Yeah, hide in the stall.
No, we're gonna just poll dudes as they come in the stalls. We're gonna look over into the urinal.
Do the uncomfortable thing. Just the dude next to like
all the way open.
Sir, can you move your hand real quick? I need to see what you're.
What do you?
Okay, yeah. Keep going,
continue.
Sir.
Continue.
Going. Don't forget to shake, rattle, and roll. Yep.
Oh my fucking lord.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, we're just gonna go like just spend a day in a fucking rest area, just seeing how every man does it to get. Hey, look, man, we are a data-driven podcast here. All right.
Yo.
We do not. We are science-based here.
Yep.
We believe in science in this house.
We need you to sign here to let us,
consent form, release form.
You can sign in your pee. That's all right, sir. Yep.
Oh my fucking great.
Just redirects the stream. Just. Thank you, sir. That's all we need.
Science-driven and professional.
Yes.
As long as we have your DNA on this paper,
your comfort is top priority for us, okay?
As long as your DNA is on this paper, sir.
As long as we got something from you. Oh my Christ.
Leave it down in the comments whether or not.
No. This will be one I'm okay with not getting any comments on. Then I'm cool with this video not getting comments.
Demonetized.
Bad time to say like, comment, and subscribe.
Actually, I say demonetize. If this is what gets it demonetized,
that would be.
Y'all obviously haven't seen any of our other episodes.
You really haven't. You really haven't. But support us on Patreon as well.
Hey.
We do have one of those. It's crazy. Little tip for y'all. If you go on and subscribe now, you might get a little extra or get a little how do I say this?
A little something.
A little something. Like if subscribing now will earn you a little bit of a status in the future when.
Are you making P-Tech a Patreon only?
Oh, we should make P-Tech a Patreon only. No. It should make P-Tech a Patreon only. Man.
All that kinky shit.
No,
that
just
you like.
Just as we continue to grow the podcast, there's gonna be, because I'm not super focused on what's real great for fucking podcasting? Me not paying attention to the camera at all and playing with this fucking frill. As we're growing the podcast, I'm not super focused on the Patreon shit right now, but I currently have it set to $1 a month for anyone that supports, and anyone who gets in at that $1 a month tier. When I do bump that up to when I do really start like pushing Patreon and like bumping it up to like $3, $5 or more, whatever tiers, I'm gonna grandfather anybody who's locked in at the $1 tier into $1 for life. At least that's the hope. That's what I want to do. As I'm looking into it, and I should be able to do that. If not, I'll just have to figure something out later. But yeah. So basically, while we're at the stage of like not really promoting it a ton, anyone who happens to mosey their way over there and get in, it's just kind of a way to show appreciation.
Yeah.
In the future. But that's enough of that. Okay, we have a few things to get into. We're gonna start with Make Way. So Izzy was telling us about this right before we started the podcast. What is Make Way?
It's this kind of fun, like, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like an arcade style racer, kind of kart racing. It's kind of similar to, I guess, the closest comparison would be sort of like Mario Kart. It's a little more top down, but you basically start out, and each player, up to 4 players, choose like a track piece.
Oh, okay.
And you place the track pieces, and then you race that segment of the track, and you get points for whoever finishes in first and everything.
Oh, nice.
But then you extend that track by 4 more track pieces.
Oh.
And then you race that entire track.
And
you do that like 4 or 5 times.
It's kind of like Ultimate Chicken Horse.
That's what I've been trying to think of.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game I've been trying to think of.
Yo.
It is a lot like that. Do you know? Have you seen Grant play Ultimate Chicken Horse?
I've heard of Ultimate Chicken Horse, but I don't know what it is.
It's the one where it's a bunch of animals. It's like just big head, small animals. And you basically are literally racing from one side to the other.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
And like they put booby traps and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. You're trying to kill all the...
There's like stuff like that in this too, where you can put like roadblocks or fans that blow you off the side.
The second I saw the building aspect, I thought of that and I couldn't think of the name of the game.
Yeah. The way that Izzy was explaining it, I was like, oh yeah, that's Ultimate Chicken Horse for sure.
I actually really like just like piling traps at the very beginning. Like trying to make the start line as impassable as possible.
Yeah,
like
that's
this,
the way to go.
Oh man, this actually looks really good.
Yeah.
God, so mad. Because
What?
we could have made this.
Yeah.
Like this seems like it's one of those like I look at things and go, why could I not have thought of this? Because this looks like such a fun time. And it's, I won't say it looks simple, but it doesn't look like wildly complicated either.
Yeah, with like Unreal's physics,
right?
just kind of baked in. You just make
You just need to make-
blueprints, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say like all you're doing is making prefabs and letting people set them up.
Yeah.
But this looks like a fucking fun time, and it's 34% off right now.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna buy this as soon as we stop recording
Sweet.
because I am.
That sounds fun.
Is it? Do you know if it's in person co-op or is it all online?
I've only played online, but you can do private
Okay.
lobbies.
Okay.
That stuff.
Well, I'm gonna buy it and we're gonna get a bunch of other people to buy it.
Yeah, I'll
And
buy
we're
it
gonna
too. Hey, why
Hell
not?
yeah,
Especially if it's on sale.
yeah.
And hopefully, maybe this
Looks
would be a
like-
good incentive.
Oh yeah, $10.
Yeah, that's a great deal right there.
If I was logged in, I'm gonna send this to my main account.
Maybe this would be a good incentive for us to
Start playing
going
some
on.
games again.
Yeah, playing games, maybe streaming a little.
Oh
bit.
yeah.
Kingz After Dark,
I'd be down for that.
kind of stream
Um,
squad or something like that.
Right. I also just really want to start playing video games again. I have not played an actual video game in forever that wasn't called Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Fair
the only
enough.
one
Yeah.
since you finished Zelda.
literally.
Pokemon's just like become like your job. Like
More or less. I haven't even done any shiny hunting in like a month because I am down to the last 4 Pokemon I need, and all of them are just breeding and eggs and shit, which is like the most boring process ever.
Mhm.
But I have other than those 4, I have every Pokemon available in Scarlet and Violet that can be gotten as a shiny.
Wow. Gee.
Yeah.
Okay.
It took
Yeah. Do you want to clock those hours for us?
shit. God, I actually kind of want to pull up and see where my hour count is now because I'm fairly certain it's at I'm pushing like 7, if not 800 hours.
Wow.
Good Lord.
It's a lot of hours. And that's just Pokemon Scarlet. Like that's not even including all of the other games I've shiny hunted in and
That's crazy.
hours from other shit. And so I am like
Respect, honestly.
Thank you.
Respect.
Like so that gets me to
Dedication.
pretty much, I think I'm at like 50% of the total Pokemon count for shiny Ace.
Mm.
I actually got to sit down and look at that and see where I'm at for that. Because I think I'm at like, maybe not. Oh, maybe I am. Am I at like 550, 600 shinies or something like that? I'm at least 400.
Are you able to see them all like in the same space, or is it like across games?
So it's across games, but in Pokemon Home, I can see them all in one space.
Oh,
That's where I transfer all of my shinies to. When I say at least 400, it's because that's how many Pokemon are in the Scarlet and Violet Pokedex. Even though some of them aren't available as shinies, I know that like that's very few. So I can say I have at least 400. I'm fairly certain I'm pushing like 600 to some odd. I'm pretty certain. But I know that I still have a lot to go.
Mm.
But I'm slowly getting there. And it's not like I'm the first person. Like it will be a cool accomplishment to be the first person with a shiny living dex. But I know there's plenty of people that have managed shiny living dexes before, but they also do this professionally, in which like literally their day in and day out is them streaming shiny hunting. So just doing this casually and getting here, like it's an impressive. I am proud of my collection.
As you should be.
Thank you.
'Cause that is a whole lot of time.
It is a lot of
Dedication.
time. It is a lot of time. But
That's
I
awesome.
enjoy my time too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you. So yeah, make way. I am, like I said, I'm definitely gonna. As soon as we're done recording, I'm gonna go sit down and buy this at my computer. So maybe y'all hear about us playing this earlier. Maybe y'all even get to see us play it. That might become a thing. I know I've been having that itch to play Minecraft again.
I just started like 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I might pay you to put that up on the server. But yeah, like I want to play Minecraft again. Stardew Valley a little bit, but not even Stardew Valley. Haunted Chocolatier. I don't know where they're at in development. I know it's still in active development, but I don't know. Like y'all know about Haunted Chocolatier, right? The spiritual successor, like made by the same people who made Stardew Valley.
Oh, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, basically it's a sequel to Stardew Valley. I don't think it's like,
It just doesn't sound connected at all. Haunted Chocolatier.
because I don't think it is. So that's why it's really more of a spiritual successor.
Oh, I see.
It just happened to be made by the same guy who did
okay.
Stardew Valley. Because I imagine there's probably going to be some nods to like, it's basically Deltarune to Undertale is the best way to describe it. Where there's probably going to be some universe crossover because it's definitely the same. And at least it's a very similar engine, same art style for the most part. Like you immediately know it's it's from the Stardew Valley people. Like it's clearly another Stardew Valley. But whether or not the worlds are connected, I don't know. Whether or not if there's going to be any character crossover, who knows? I don't know. But it does look like a good time, and I've been excited for it for at least a couple years now, since the first time they announced it. But I really want to play that, and I'm imagining it's going to have multiplayer, and that'll be really fun to like get everybody in a world on. Other stuff I've been wanting to play, like I mean, the hype train is gone, and I've never really wanted to play it, but it would have been kind of cool to play Lethal Company. I think there'd have to be more going on with Lethal Company for me to want to play it at this point. Like I feel like I've experienced everything I needed to experience with Lethal Company through YouTube.
Yeah.
But that looked really fun. GTA 6 around the corner. I actually do kind of want to play around the corner in GTA 6 time and GTA timing. But that coming up, like GTA 5 actually looks kind of fun. I actually have GTA 5. They gave that away for free a while ago. Yeah. And pretty much everyone got it. But I never actually got around to installing it or playing it. I don't even know if I have it available to download anymore, because I don't even know if I have my Rockstar login.
Oh, they had it for free right on Epic Game Store.
Then I might have it through that too, actually. May or may not. I don't remember, but I might have that. But yeah, there's just a lot of games I've been wanting to play, and a lot of them that are online. I've been really wanting to get like in an online space. I'm supposed to be playing Final Fantasy 14 with Joe. And I promised that I would get back to that. And that was literally a year ago, because I stopped playing because I was jobless. And then I got my job, and I just never thought about Final Fantasy 14 again. But I do want to hop on that and start playing, because I've been really wanting to play an MMO. But I want to play an MMO more than I actually want to play the MMO. I want to play an MMO is basically where this is right now for me. But yeah, there's a lot of games I want to play, and this looks like it'll be a really fun one.
Yeah.
Also been a little itching to play Among Us. Like,
oh yeah.
But right. I want to get that, see if anybody who used to be in that core group who played want to play, but
I'm not class reunion.
A little bit, right? But I'm not like holding my breath on that. But yeah. So yeah, this is like a fun one. Make way. Thank you for that recommendation. Is it?
Yeah. Another game I'm really looking forward to is Little Nightmares 3. That's coming out soon.
Yep. Okay. I didn't even know they were making a 3.
That too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool.
Nice.
I haven't seen a lot of stuff on it yet.
Yeah.
But I haven't really looked up a lot of stuff for it. I know it's coming out at some point.
Yeah, I don't really look too close at game stuff because I just want to like play it when it comes out.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But no, like Little Nightmares is one of the series that I actually did play on stream on my.
That's right. Yeah.
On my Twitch. So I definitely will be playing Little Nightmares 3 on my stream again, and maybe that will be the game that has me coming back. Maybe we don't know. Yeah. We'll see. I want to do a lot of stuff on stream actually.
Right. When is it coming out?
I have no idea.
Fair enough.
I feel like it was a month or two, but that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Sweet.
It'll be good.
All right. What is some fun stuff we got to get into? So I heard you've been watching Mashal.
Yeah.
Not loading?
Mashal. I don't know exactly just how popular this show is right now, but like it's up there.
I know it's opening or it's outro. I don't know where the song comes from, but I know the little dance has been like super popular on TikTok.
Oh yeah, it's the second season's opening.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I do have that video posted too. In
I saw Discord.
That. Yeah, because that song's been stuck in my head for 3-4 days now. On repeat. It's probably going to be in my Spotify Wrapped number 1. But but yes, Mashal, magic and muscles. Mashal is the combination of the magic and muscles. Basically, imagine One Punch Man in Harry Potter world. I'm
amazed you said One Punch Man, because this is really more Rock Lee.
or I guess Rock
in
Lee
Harry
too.
Potter world. But yeah, I get
But
what
the
you mean.
way that he does shit is One Punch Man.
Okay.
I
saw a couple screenshots.
His mannerisms, the way that he's like kind of monotone a lot.
I was gonna say, by the way, is this by the same company that did or Animation House that did One Punch Man? Because he looks a lot like Saitama,
yeah,
as well as Mob Psycho.
I was gonna say, think of One Punch Man, Mob Psycho, and shoot, who else?
I can't think of anything else because these were the only three that
I was basically gonna say, imagine those guys like mashed in one, and you get Mash because that's his name.
Yep,
his name is Mash. But yeah, it's essentially that. You have a magical Harry Potter-esque world. You got your wizards. All of them have like a certain scar on their face that lets you know that they have magic. Mm-hmm. And anybody who has less less magic or not a lot of magic or no magic are basically scum of the earth or treated like trash or like you're homeless or you're, low poverty, whatever line, right? Like they're just the scum of the society in this world, right? And you get Mash, who is magicless. He doesn't have magic at all. And you find this out in the first episode, his caretaker is another guy who has magic, but not a lot, right? He's was treated terribly throughout his whole life for not having a lot of magic. And so he finds Mash just as he's about to commit unalive on himself.
Honorable Sudoku.
Yes. He hears a baby behind him and he's like, oh, this must be my purpose. That I would find a baby here, as I was about to do this thing, it must be my purpose to raise you. And he saw that he had no mark, he had no magic, which is why he must have been abandoned. So he raises this kid basically so that he can take on whatever challenges that come at him without magic.
Okay.
Because he can't use magic. But it's not like this old guy is ripped or anything. It's just he's a guy. He's basically just told Mash to train and come up with a training regimen. And this dude does. He basically takes Saitama's training to the max.
Yeah.
And becomes the strongest being alive in a world of magic where you have to have magic and all of your fighting is magic or whatever. He's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to punch you. And I'm going to punch you good. And you're not going to get up. You're not going to be able to use your magic.
Yeah.
I'm going to punch magic. I'm punching magic.
So it's like how do I say this?
Take the phrase brain
weaponless self-defense against weapons is like a martial arts thing. Like people train to be able to disarm people with guns or swords, but he's studying how to disarm people with magic that have magic.
Right, exactly. And the premise is like, okay, he's been going under the radar, right, this whole time because his grandpa's been keeping him essentially like locked up like freaking a princess in a tower or whatever, basically like, don't go into town or else they'll know you don't have magic. But of course, there's a sale in town, and he's like, oh, I gotta go, because his favorite cream puffs, I think, are in town.
He is just Saitama.
He's basically Saitama. And he goes, and everybody sees him without his mark, and some, security guys, or basically the authority, follow him back to his home outside of town, and basically try to, arrest him for not having magic. But the one thing that he can do to kind of get out of it is if he becomes the supreme visionary or something like that. Basically, one of the top members of society.
He won't get elite.
Yeah, something like that.
Divine visionary.
Divine visionary. If he becomes one of the divine visionary, he basically won't be able to be touched by the authorities because they're kind of like the nobles, more or less. But of course, those are the more powerful magicians. But it's like the way to get there is you got to go to magic school and you got to show your worth that you can actually, that you're powerful.
You gotta level up and you gotta beat the Elite Four.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But how can you do that without magic?
I was gonna ask, is the mark in a specific place?
Nah.
Just usually
So
like
how do
on
you
their eye.
know I don't have a mark?
I mean, you wouldn't, because the whole time he has a fake mark, and it's just...
Well, the mark is on your face.
yeah, it's on,
it's
it's on your face.
It's just
It's on-
not a
it is on your
specific
face.
type of mark, right?
Yes.
So
it is
some
on
people
your
have
face.
like weird like stripes. Some people have like just the one line that's kind of like geometric and all types of shit.
Like straight up, some people just have straight up Harry Potter, lightning thing on their face, But yeah, if it's a one line, if you got one line, your magic is pretty basic. 2 lines, okay, you're powerful.
You can see their lines in the preview images behind you right now.
Yeah. 3 lines, oh dude, you're cracked.
Yeah. Whoever this is pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah, he's cracked. So yeah, I have a trailer in the Discord that we can watch, like
Okay.
a minute and 50 seconds or something. It's not crazy.
Okay.
But I watched the first episode and I was like, this is actually looks like it's gonna be really good. I need to watch this. And I binged it over the next few days.
Right.
I've seen it around and I was like on the verge of watching it the other day, but
Yeah.
Like these screenshots, I've seen a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Like this one in particular.
It's definitely more of a comedy. So like it plays off like One Punch Man, essentially. More or
I
less.
knew this would fucking happen.
Oh shit, what happened? Oh, when you played YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the audio stopped.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does look like a fun time.
when you said in a Harry Potter world, I was like, okay, yeah, like magic stuff.
Magic world.
But it's
It's
like
literally Harry
It's
Potter.
literally Harry
like the
Potter.
houses. They got the houses.
Yes.
the
Right.
wands. Look,
The whole broom game thing that they
Yeah.
play.
Right.
Like, I don't know how they get away with this without it being copyrighted or stricken or whatever.
I
But
think
at the
you can
same
make-
time, when I told Michaela about it, she was like, "Well, there's a lot of things that actually copy Harry Potter." So
I was
It's
gonna say there's
actually-
quite a few things, but I think also a lot of like Harry Potter didn't make up a lot of these tropes,
like
Like,
houses and
right?
Yeah.
Like houses and shit.
Brooms,
like broom
witches.
sports on a broom is not really a copyrightable thing unless like they're straight up doing Quidditch, which raises some questions. But we'll see.
yeah.
Um,
But no, like in that,
which
in
also I
that
don't think Quidditch is
particular-
copyrighted anyway. I don't think it's actually been copyrighted. But I'm not super certain on the legality of that shit, so I don't know.
But yeah, no, like in that particular broom clip, you mentioned that he like jumped up.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's basically the way that he manages to actually fly is he basically runs in the air so fast that
Fuck off.
yeah, no, he wiggles his legs in the air so fast that he just maintains
He's
altitude.
Is he? He's doing what Sanji does.
Yes.
And it's just kicking off the air.
Yes, super fast.
Oh my god.
And that's how he flies.
It looks like a wacky ass time, which does look like a lot of fun.
It's definitely ridiculous, but
Honest-
it's really cool. Like some
Yeah.
of those action scenes and everything are really cool. Like the animation goes crazy in certain scenes.
Yeah. Honestly, now that I've caught up on Apothecary Diaries, I'm kind of looking at something new to pick up, and I might end up watching this because I've been kind of curious about this for a while now.
I've been seeing it in like the For You part of Crunchyroll, and I've just been like,
Right.
And I keep seeing it popping up also in like the popular section. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try.
Right.
And it's got 2 seasons, but only the first one has an English dub. The second
Okay.
one has all of the dubs besides English, and it's very strange because everybody on Reddit is like, where's the English dub? Where is it? Why does it have
On
all the
Crunchyroll?
other dubs? Yeah, on Crunchyroll.
Interesting, because I assume they're the ones.
Pretty much anywhere. Like you can't find an
being
English
exported to.
dub anywhere yet. And everybody's so confused.
Unless- Oh, do you have an answer?
Well, a lot of people suspect that the reason why the English dub hasn't dropped yet is because of the voice actor of the main character, Mash.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the voice actor for Mash is also the English dub voice actor for Solo Leveling, a few other like high profile animes that are coming out right now.
Speaking of, we
He's
got to
busy.
catch up on Solo Leveling, but yeah,
Right. But yeah, basically everybody's like, he's probably busy as fuck. But I don't know how that works.
I don't either, and I would find that an odd reasoning.
Right.
Um,
So,
because I imagine any like even high profile voice actors are probably doing multiple projects congruently to each other.
right.
But yeah, I guess I don't know the structure of that. I'm more inclined to say, does this air on any major network? Like, because if this airs on like fucking Toonami or some shit, I am almost inclined to say that it's getting exclusivity first somewhere before. But I imagine people already would have figured that the fuck out by now, if that were the case.
I mean, the first season is dubbed in English and everything. Just the
Right.
second season, you can't find the English dub anywhere.
Is like, I would imagine if you like, which yeah, if people are looking, they would have been found it on Adult Swim or something. So maybe it is. He's just too fucking busy. He's like, look, bruh,
I'm maxed out.
I'm maxed out, man.
I got to keep leveling up. You know?
Unfortunately, Solo Leveling is the hottest shit right now.
Yeah.
Which we are like 3 episodes behind on, me and Fluff.
I mean, that's probably perfect because I've just backed and I just waited until the English dub caught up.
Oh yeah,
So I'm watching the English dub of that right now, which is probably 3 episodes or so behind
fair
the Japanese sub.
enough. I'm gonna, you know what, I might do that this weekend. I'm going to catch up on that. I've been really enjoying watching anime again lately. It's been a long time since I watched any anime, only because it's like trying to find the time and the gumption to watch something has been really difficult. But this is really like reawaken my love for anime again. Yeah, I'm probably gonna catch up. So is season 2 currently airing, or is it done airing and there's on season 3 or what?
I think season 2 is done.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but I haven't seen it because I'm like,
because there's no way to find it.
well, because I want to watch it in English.
Okay.
I could watch it in Japanese and it'd be
Because
fine
I'm
with it.
guaranteeing you I'm watching this in Japanese.
Right. And you probably would enjoy it, probably even more, because there's some funny, weird stuff going on with some of the voices in English stuff, as there always is. But I don't know. I'm trying to see what happens with the English dub. If it looks like it's just not going to happen for whatever reason, then I'll just give in and watch it in the sub. Or I could just wait until you're done with the first season and we could watch the second season together in Japanese.
If you like.
Yeah.
Yo, post-editing Rueben here again, even though this is like 2 months past when this was relevant, but because of the nature of One Piece, this is still very necessary. The discussion me and Ken are about to have here is very spoiler heavy. It doesn't seem like it at first, but we kind of cross into some territory that if you are trying to catch up on One Piece, especially for the Egghead arc, you might want to go on and skip to the timestamp that is on screen now. As always, thank you guys for supporting the podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the episode.
We also got to catch up. Well, I say me and Fluff got to catch up on One Piece. We finally made it into Egghead,
Yeah.
and then we keep falling off.
Yeah. I mean, I have a little One Piece like thing up
do you?
here that I wanted to. Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, that's what
actually.
that was. Okay. Then let's transition on into that then.
So that's a good segue. And I just saw this just before the podcast when I was just scrolling through Facebook, but it's like there is a lot happening in the One Piece like world right
Which
now,
I
this
will
year
say,
and next year.
And I'll only say this because Fluff isn't here. I saw when you were telling me shit's even scarier than we anticipated.
Yeah.
I saw why.
Yeah.
That's looking nuts.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. And some of the pictures that you see in the thing there kind of show a little bit there.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, so that is in reference to this upcoming arc after Egghead,
Really?
where they're going to, at least it's heavily implied, it's almost impossible that they wouldn't be going here.
Right.
They're going to the land of the giants called Elba.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to find pretty much all of the answers on what Luffy is, where, what his power is,
where Nika comes from, and all that.
The Giants have like all those answers right now.
Hell yeah.
And of course, like the new remake of One Piece that's being made by the same
live
studio.
action One Piece is getting a season 2.
Live action's getting a season 2, and that's of course the bottom right is a little graphic that somebody made of one of the latest chapters that dropped in the manga.
Nice.
And what have you seen?
I saw the might of the 5 elders and what they can do. It's not like I've read any story of it. It was really mostly just on Quora of all things.
Yeah.
Someone asked about them, and I kind of just read through it and then went over to and got a little, pretty much the expose on their powers.
Okay.
And
how
what
long
makes
ago?
them special. This was just a couple days ago.
Oh, okay. So then you pretty much are caught up. Oda revealed what the 5 elders look like in their forms.
Yeah.
And they are on Egghead, and they are fucking shit up now for the first time.
Have you been seeing the conversation about what makes them kind of special?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is all the rage right now.
Right.
Because now it's not a question of what devil fruits they have. It's a question of what are they?
What the fuck are they?
They could be devils themselves.
So that's been the fun bit, is when you look at them. I'm going to try to remember to retroactively mark this spoiler. Because this, I think, is this spoiler range? You know better than I would.
I mean, they don't show any of the elders in the opening.
Right.
They show Rob Lucci and Luffy fighting and some other people fighting. But like, again,
I guess this is still like speculation. So like,
for anime watchers, yes, this is a spoiler. But for manga readers, this is not a spoiler.
Oh, yeah,
you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Like,
so I will mark this as spoilers. Probably before we get here. But if you missed that, if you didn't see that, if you're not watching the video, here's your. I guess we've already kind of spoiled it, so I'm gonna have to just do it. I'm gonna have to just like post edit in a spoiler.
I mean, it's not like we posted up a picture of what the Gorosei look like right now.
I am now though. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you could.
I could. Basically, I mean, actually, you
have
really could.
Have you seen?
I have seen what they look like.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you haven't seen it yet, you may as well just look at it right now.
I will probably post up the picture of it. They look fucking insane. So I think the cool thing about them is like people. So that whole basically the core question was like, who would win, Kaido or any of the Gorosei? And it was like Gorosei. The fucking it was like Gorosei.
There's power scaling for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. And
there's a reason Luffy took on Kaido.
Yes.
For the Gorosei.
And yeah, Luffy won, but again, Kaido was at a heavy disadvantage when he fought Luffy at Gear 5.
Yeah.
He was at a pretty heavy disadvantage. That's not to minimize Kaido's power. I think we talked about this already.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if Kaido was at full power, yeah, it would have been even harder.
I think,
but it would have been
still won. But
well, yeah. I'm talking about Luffy versus Kaido right now. Like,
well, I mean, are you talking Gear 5 Luffy or Gear 4?
Gear 5.
Gear 5, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm talking Gear 5 Luffy. I think would have still won.
Yes, I agree. I agree that Gear 5 Luffy still would have beat Kaido at full at full power. But then you're talking about the Gorosei, who are some of the most powerful beings in the world.
Like the next step down from the ruler of the world.
From Emu, the ruler of the world. Nobody knows about these guys.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about. So Kaido, yes, he's like the biggest, baddest, most powerful beast in the world that people know of.
Yeah.
People don't know who the fuck these 5 old guys are.
Right.
And they just show up out of nowhere in these forms no one's ever seen before.
Wrecking shit.
And start blowing people's heads off.
Yeah.
And slicing people in two.
Yeah.
We don't see that kind of gore in One Piece. We haven't really seen that much violence,
carnage.
really. ever.
Yeah.
And I think the moment Saturn appeared for the first time, he was the first Gorosei to pop up on the island in his form and just blew up somebody's head by looking at them.
Jesus.
That was Oda's basically saying, Oda was saying,
shit's gonna get crazy for everyone.
Yeah, he was saying, look, guys, it's been all fun and giggles and we're going on an adventure. We're pirates.
Right?
He was like, yeah, fuck that noise now. We're getting serious.
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
serious. People are dying. Not that guy whose head blew up, he's not coming back. He's dead. Dead.
The stakes
You can see the blood and his headless body, just blood everywhere. He's dead.
The stakes are as high as they're gonna get.
Yeah,
I think the thing though is like so that Korra post went on to talk about how a lot of people are speculating that these are obviously not devil fruit users.
Could not be.
The reasoning that they brought up was like the way that their powers and titles were introduced does not line up with how they've generally been introduced as a devil fruit. So normally when the power comes on, you get a title card that basically says what the name of the devil fruit.
Something no mi.
Yeah, something no mi. And instead their title cards were the name of specific Japanese oni. And so these dudes might just be demons. And whether or not they were given their powers or they're just straight up demons is kind of where the question is. And I thought was a really cool fucking like, that's a really cool aspect for like the 5 like elders to actually just be straight up demons.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're all like based off like real like Japanese yokais is really fucking cool.
The interesting thing is though, is like not all of them are based off of yokai, like Japanese yokai. And I think that's one of the funniest things to me.
Oh, really?
One of the funniest things to me is the fact that we all speculate as a community, like, oh, and they're pretty much like, at least 50% right most of the time.
Right.
It's like, oh, they're going to be all yokai. This is what this elder is going to be. This is what that elder is going to be. Boom, 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 boom. They got maybe 3 of them correct.
Oh, yeah.
But then the other 2 were just like out of left field,
Really?
pretty much. Yeah, like the worm, dude.
I was going to say, is that not a...
No.
Really?
That's just a giant ass worm. It's probably from something, but what I saw from a couple other community like content creators posts basically saying Oda really liked Dune.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
And those giant worm monsters are in Dune.
Yeah.
And Oda being Oda, he was like, okay, we'll have the Japanese yokai that everybody expects. But I want to add a Dune reference in here. So here we go.
Fair
One
enough.
of them's a giant worm.
There you go.
Yeah.
And one of them is a giant fucking worm.
With teeth, like a Titan, Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Because he said he also wanted to reference that. Maybe not necessarily for the worm, but it's gone on record saying that Oda likes Attack on Titan. He likes Dune. He wanted to reference these, pieces of art in different ways in his work. And everybody's thinking that this is probably one of the ways that he did that.
Fair enough.
And kind of subverted everybody's expectations of, all these Gorosei are going to be these yokai Japanese demon monster gods. It's like, nope, we got a worm.
Sometimes we have worms, man.
Yep. And then one of them is the skeleton horse.
I saw that. I saw that dude, and that was pretty fucking sick too.
Right. And I mean, that could be a reference. I just watched a video today where somebody was like, that could be a reference to
Minecraft.
Maybe, to the 4 horsemen apocalypse.
The apocalypse. That's what I figured when I first saw it. I was like, that seems like pestilence or death.
Yeah. And he was basically saying that could
straight
be
up a centaur, but like on a skeleton horse.
Right.
Which is kind of sick, but
dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, it was like, that could be maybe what Oda was maybe trying to reference a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
But we won't know unless we ask Oda directly.
Until we get
which I'm sure will be in some kind of SBS or something like that in the future, where a person will ask and Oda will answer via the SBS.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that happens. But yeah, it's crazy. And right now it doesn't look like these things can be killed. It doesn't look like anything hurts them.
I saw that where their regeneration is the most ridiculous shit we've seen.
Yeah, and right now, basically, the thing is, another spoiler, Vegapunk is dying.
I heard about that.
And it set off a trigger message. Basically, as soon as his heart stopped or it starts stopping, he's somehow programmed a way so that when that happens, it triggers a message that will broadcast to the entire world the history of the world.
Really?
In 10 minutes. So the Gorosei are on a timer, which is why they're all on the island.
Yeah.
They're trying to stop the truth from getting out.
Oh.
So right now...
Well, killing Vegapunk was the wrong move then, wasn't it?
It definitely was. And so right now they're trying to stop that from happening while Luffy is trying to fight the Gorosei to keep them from killing everybody and kind of failing a little bit in certain aspects, but it's okay.
Who's Vegapunk?
The mad scientist who like built most of the advanced technology in the One Piece world. You may have heard him a little bit in Wano, but not
I
too
think
much.
he came up like once or twice.
Yeah, he helped develop those smile fruits.
Okay.
He was pretty much I would say he was more or less the mastermind behind the smile fruits.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you have your other characters like Caesar and Don Flamingo and a lot of those other characters who were helping to push the smile fruits further and out into the public to get test subjects for them.
Okay.
And Luffy kind of beat their asses already.
Right.
But anyway, Vegapunk is dying. The video's about to drop. The Gorosei are there to try to stop it. Luffy's trying to stop them. And at the same time, they're trying to escape Egghead because the situation is looking dire. They got 5 beast monsters there, seemingly unbeatable, even by Gear 5 Luffy. I don't know how the fuck he's going to go up against all these guys at once. Everybody's suspecting Zoro's going to take on Skull or Skeleton Horseman.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty much time for them to go. Yeah. So we think that they're going to escape Egghead, run away from the Gorosei for now.
We introduced your benchmark. Now it's time for them to reach it.
Right.
And figure out how they're going to reach it.
Right. But we do think the truth is going to come out pretty much. And then it's going to be further explained in Elbaf in the next arc.
Okay.
So, yeah, pretty much for everything for the past 25 to almost 30 years is about to be explained.
Jesus.
And it is a wild time to be a One Piece fan right now, especially if you've been there from the beginning, which I haven't. But people who have been there from the beginning,
so
yeah,
that's all that matters.
Right. But people who have been following this from the jump are probably insufferable right now. I can imagine. I can imagine. Even I'm like this right now, and I can imagine how some people who this is all they consume are probably insufferable about it.
Yeah.
But I'll try not to be.
I definitely do need to go on to catch up so I can start catching this weekly and make that a lot more manageable. It's like we were doing so good too, and then we kind of fell the fuck off.
I mean, once Wano ended,
we hit Wano, and
that was pretty much peak One Piece right there towards the end of that. Yeah. And then you got the start of, Egghead, and then it does kind of mellow out for a while.
Yeah.
But in the last episode, it showed Rob Lucci gearing up, putting on his mask. So we're about to see Rob Lucci and Luffy start to fight, and that's going to be hype all over again. And that's kind of where everything starts to really rev up.
Okay.
So it's getting there.
Yeah, I'm going to try to jet through that as quickly as I can. I was watching it with Fluff. He was really my impetus to watch. But at this point, I might just go on and hit up One Pace and just jet through that shit as quickly as I can.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Just to go on and be caught up to it. But yeah, no, shit's looking sick. It's looking really good. And it's looking like it's going to be a lot of fun because now we're getting Vikings.
Pretty much.
Is that actually a thing?
So that was a while ago. I forgot exactly what issue this was or what chapter this was, but Oda likes to do those like cover images and cover art and stuff like that for certain chapters and whatnot. And he just makes art of all these characters doing a lot of cool stuff. And in different costumes in different places. And a lot of times they're relevant and sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
But everybody keeps pointing to this art that he did a long time ago, basically, hinting at the fact that, yes, they're going to go to Elbath because Elbath is heavily Viking inspired and Norse mythology inspired.
Okay.
So it's like, this was kind of a big hint of them going to Elbath at some point.
Nice.
So everybody, and the Giants are on the island and everything right now, there to pick up the Straw Hats. Basically, everything is saying, yeah, they're going to Elbath after this. It's pretty much confirmed. So everybody's excited about it. Is
Nice.
essentially what that image is.
Shit, hell yeah. That's the One Piece update. That continues to be the hypest thing going on right now. That is going to be fucking crazy.
Wild.
I cannot wait to catch up on that. All right. Let's do this.
And this is just a quick thing.
I was gonna say this was a super quick thing. I don't think this is really like super relevant. Is this actual like original?
It looks like it. I don't know why.
Character design?
It looks like it. I don't know why it would be fake.
Well,
I don't know.
Not so much fake. I can see this being someone's like attempt at that. But so this looks like it was like, who's Matt Nolte?
I don't know.
I think that's just a type of pencil, maybe.
Oh, I figured that was the artist.
That's what I thought too. But for some reason,
I'll look them up and see if that's actually.
so Matt Nolte and then done in pencil. So it looks like somehow someone found a. So we're looking at the screenshot from what looks to be either.
Oh
Facebook
no,
or,
he's official.
Okay,
Matt
he is
Nolte's
the artist.
an animator, character designer, and art director at Pixar. So yeah, that's probably legit, honestly.
Yeah, so we're looking at a screenshot of what looks to be some possible God, what is it called?
Concept art?
Concept art, thank you. Of Frozone's wife from The Incredibles will look like. And what she was initially planned on looking like in the movie.
It looks like they even got her to like
some
a
level of
clay
sculpt.
sculpture.
Yeah.
And that's probably a real clay sculpture because I remember they do those.
Oh yeah.
They started out doing clay and
That's where
scanning
ZBrush
it.
comes from. Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks very. Kenton, you might know this from old school Disney days. She looks very Proud Family.
Proud Family, yeah.
Like she looks incredibly.
I
Proud
was
Family, doesn't
literally
she?
as soon as you said Disney Channel, I was trying to remember the name of that show.
Yeah.
I was about to say like Family Glad, Family something. It's like, no, that's not it. It's like Proud Family. It's like, yes.
You know who she looks like? You remember the best friend who wore the blue
Yeah.
with the blonde hair? She looks like her grown
Blonde
up.
hair, short, stocky a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
She looks like her grown up.
Absolutely, I can see it.
Like she is. If you're not looking at the screen right now, she is a sassy black woman. Very curvy too. Like very, very Pixar curvy. Really interesting design of it. This would have been sweet to see her like come to like actual fruition on screen.
Honestly, like a cameo or something.
Right.
Even in the background. I wonder
You would
if
have just
she
like even
was.
saw a silhouette of her.
I wonder if she was, because they're like, I remember people talking about it a little bit ago, where they paused the movie at
Certain
Helen and
Frozone?
the mom and the dad's wedding.
Oh yeah,
Bob.
yeah.
Helen and Bob's wedding, and you can see they paused it where you could see like people who were in attendance, and they were talking about some other characters and pointing them out, but you could see Frozone.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if maybe his wife is also next to him.
I don't
in that
think
image.
so, because I think it's implied that they weren't married first.
Mm.
Because she also
Fair.
she was not. I think it's also implied that she was not a. Actually, I guess it doesn't really imply whether she was a superhero or not. If she has any particular powers of her own, she just knew he had a super suit.
Yeah. I don't think she. I feel like if she was a super, they would have put her in the story,
Right.
or at least they would have shown her.
Very possible.
There was a taboo, or it was illegal for them to have kids or something. Supers.
Oh,
Was it?
really?
Yeah.
There's so much about that movie
Really?
that actually, like, I didn't really think about until, like, there was a Twitter post of, like, somebody talking about how crazy Bob's work was and how fraudulent they were.
Oh, they were super fraudulent.
And I just never thought to break down the movie. I haven't seen it in a minute, but I haven't thought to break down a lot of that movie until I saw that post where they were like, zooming in on some of the papers and exactly what it said.
Yeah.
And talking through like, okay, he's saying this, that means this. They're ripping people off.
Oh yeah, no.
And it's like,
even I will say, as much as I didn't understand it as a child, I knew from the scene in which he's talking to the old lady that he's absolutely ripping them off. Like, like he's not a good business. Well, the company's not good, and he's just doing what he has to do. But yeah, what now? Them not prohibited from having children. Where did that come from?
I thought that was a thing.
Not that I recall.
Well, and then stuff like
superheroing
that
became illegal. Like they literally couldn't be superheroes anymore. And so they just had to be like normal people. But as far as like having families, because like
I wouldn't
there was
be
never
surprised.
there was never any plot point in the first movie, at least, in which they hid their, like, yeah, they obviously had to hide their superpowers because like you're not supposed to do any kind of superpowering anymore. But they told their kids to hide their powers, but they were never like under any danger of the kids being found out. The kids went to public school.
Maybe I'm misremembering then.
Okay.
Well, I guess my point with everything I was saying is I wouldn't be surprised if there maybe was some kind of either undertone or hint or something, or some kind of like, societal pressure.
Right.
Of, because it's illegal to be supers, you shouldn't be having kids as supers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe there's even more underlying messages with the movie that just went over my head, or just like subliminal messages just for the movie's sake. Not anything like, existential or something that you're supposed to take as a viewer of the movie, but just like in this world of this movie, they're not allowed to do this, but we can't actually say that.
Because I was going to say, I don't think they could get that.
Maybe I did just like subliminally pick up on that because we had the DVD and I watched this movie like all the time.
I would also say, like, when you really think about The Incredibles, it's not that large of a cast of characters. Like, we don't really get to see a lot of the expanded cast at all.
Yeah.
Like, you got the Parr family, Frozone, the voice of his wife, what is the villain's name? Syndrome, his assistant, and then the Underminer. And that's pretty much
at the very end.
And that's made like
and the lawyer and
the lawyer, like the few like other characters at the beginning, but like the majority of the movie, it's really just the Parr family and Syndrome and the secretary, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very possible. I'm interested in looking into it now to see if that is actually a thing.
Edna Mode.
And Edna Mode. I can't believe I forgot about Edna Mode.
Oh my gosh, she'd be so mad at us.
She really would. Actually, she might not be. She actually might be the type that's super chill with being in the cut. Like, shit, don't add me into this shit. And I do need to see Incredibles 2. I still have not seen that yet.
I've only seen it once.
Fair enough.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. There was potential for it to be more than it was. It was good. It could have been more.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Did we talk about it on the podcast already?
I think we might have mentioned it, but I'm not certain.
I'm pretty sure we got into a whole conversation about
it. I remember that. I don't know if it was on the podcast though.
I don't think it was on the podcast because I would have remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, because that would have been a while ago. I do think I know what you're talking about. I think we did just like get into a conversation upstairs about it. Like a couple weeks ago. If not last week, it might have been last week.
Yeah,
I think it was recent. Yeah,
he was like, they sort of switched roles, and he was like kind of the stay-at-home dad, and she was out.
Who do we get in a conversation with?
I'm pretty sure it was us, and then Fluff was up there too. I'm pretty sure it was. Just
I swear to God, if I get to episode 14 and we talk about the fucking Incredibles,
I'm pretty sure we didn't, but I don't know.
It's very possible because I do remember that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's gonna be crazy.
Was it during Kids on Brooms?
I want to say, I don't think so, because I want to say it was Fluff that voiced that descent.
Oh. Mm.
Fairly certain.
I'm pretty sure it was upstairs later at night. I'm sure you were there.
I think it was probably a Friday.
It probably was a Friday. I'm pretty sure we did talk about it upstairs, and it wasn't on camera.
Yeah.
But, pretty good movie, not bad. Could have been more. Okay. Graphics were amazing. I don't have to talk about Pixar's graphic fidelity. It's always amazing. And there's been a joke about that movie where it's like, why did it take like 14, 15 years? And they like zoom in to like Mr. Incredible's like shirt, his sweater, and they're like fibers that you can see of like actual like hair from like the sweatshirt and shit and like the stitching and everything. This is why it take 80 years to render this shit. It's like, well, okay, maybe, but probably not.
It took longer to render it than it did to animate it.
Yeah. I believe that. I definitely believe that. But I don't know.
I mean, there is something to be said about your focus too much on polish than content, but I think it also wasn't a bad movie from the sounds of it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It could have been. It definitely wasn't as good as the first one. I can say that. But it wasn't. It could have been more. I keep saying that, and that's just what I'm going to stick with because storyline's all right, graphics are great.
Right.
Could have been more.
Could have been more. That's fair.
But definitely watch it. Definitely watch it. See for yourself. Again, I enjoy most every single Pixar Disney movie that comes out, so I'm pretty biased when it comes to Disney and Pixar. But I think the general consensus of that movie was that it wasn't bad, but it wasn't what people expected / were wanting.
Fair.
From a sequel of The Incredibles.
Fair enough.
Take that however you want to.
Fair enough. I think I trust that. I trust your assessment of it, but when it comes to like the general public, there's the part of it that I have to remember, like a lot of these people were also children when the first one came out and adults when the second one came out. And unfortunately, the way we're going to scrutinize media is going to be different. Because like it or not, Disney Pixar is going to make their movies for children, and we are not the target audience anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Maybe the criticism can be fair, but also like the two sides in which we're like the measuring stick we're using to measure Incredibles 2 is based on the measuring stick as we looked at it when we were fucking 12 and 13, if not younger right? Because I don't remember, when did Incredibles 1 come out? That was pretty early on. So I was like 11 at best.
Yeah. Hey Siri, when did The Incredibles come out?
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah.
So I was 12. So which puts you down at like fucking 7, 8.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like
8.
Right. So it's like the measuring stick in which I'm because like I'm gonna compare Incredibles 2 to Incredibles 1, except my perception, like I didn't watch Incredibles 1. I watched it a lot as a kid, but I wasn't like I didn't have it on DVD, so it wasn't like I was watching it over and over again.
I also had it on DVD too, and I watched that.
Fair. But like all the times I watched it was when I was a kid. And therefore, like my perception of Incredibles 1 was through the lens of being a child, whereas me watching Incredibles 2 now is purely through the lens of being an adult. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of forget sometimes.
So watching Incredibles 1 now isn't...
I don't know. I've not watched Incredibles 1 in that time. So it's like, I think what a lot of people forget is that they were coming back to the Incredibles series after a very long period and watching Incredibles 2 as an adult. Now, does that... It's not that I think that they would have a more critical opinion of Incredibles 1, is that I think we can sometimes have an overcritical opinion of the new thing in comparison to the first one. But that is for an assessment for me to figure out when I watch Incredibles 2.
I think in light of that, then it would be good to probably watch the first one and then watch the second one. Because the second one takes place literally 1 second after the first one.
I was going to say, Jack's still baby.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with the Underminer.
Oh, really?
Like from the moment the first one ends, that's where
it picks up. Nice. So it's direct.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd be down to do that actually.
Mhm.
Shotgun both of them.
It's technically how they've pretty much lined it up to be, more or less. It's like, okay,
This is true. They did end off the first one with
right,
the Underminer. Yeah. Well, that'll be a thing we'll get into. One of these days. I'm not exactly sure when, but we'll end up watching it. So to end off this episode with, since we're not gonna have manhwa this week, we touched on it last week a little bit, and it's become a little like it's kind of a real thing. It's the TikTok shutdown. So with that getting through the house, so there's for those of you who don't know and are trying to avoid politics, fucking power to you.
how do you do it?
How do you do it, right? The House recently passed a bill that would effectively ban TikTok in the United States. As of like at this point now, there's been a major push by TikTok to get everyone to basically contact your Congress people, and let them know that like a ban on TikTok would. I'm not entirely certain how I feel about it as of yet, but the argument being that a ban on TikTok would be kind of an impediment on like the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, free speech expression. Basically they're calling it unconstitutional, and it will impact millions of people's like livelihoods and shit. TikTok, you ain't exactly got a great track record for being a good vehicle for people's livelihoods. Like you have catapulted people's careers into like becoming famous, but generally when it comes to making money, very few people. But yeah, I personally think that a ban on TikTok is at the very least unethical. Like, cause regardless, like the reasoning behind it is purely based on like fucking pettiness. Like
Yeah.
it's really just U.S. China pettiness going on right now.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about it is for me is if it was coming from a place of like, okay, there's a lot of not so great stuff happening on TikTok, like content stuff.
Right.
If there is, right, like I'm not super into TikTok or see everything, all the news that happens with TikTok and its creators.
It's
or
nothing.
the controversies or whatnot. Like
it's nothing different than what you see on Instagram Reels or fucking YouTube Shorts. It's all
Right.
the same content.
Like if the shutdown was about something other than what it's about,
Right.
you know, at least I feel like there would be a little bit more of a like, okay, you know, like I guess I get it. But really all it is just US trying to pull power away from
China.
how much power they think China has. And
Or mostly just the fact that U.S. doesn't really get the profit from TikTok.
that
TikTok
too.
makes a profit that U.S. doesn't get a cut of. So
And that too. It's a greedy move.
it's a money play. It's a money grab.
Yes. And trying to strip China of whatever, you know, power they think they have because of TikTok.
Right.
You know, all the information and data they have on its users, you know, I don't know. They're like, we want that. Give that to us. We want that. Like, as if they don't already.
As if they don't
have
already.
that.
Like that's the crazy part to me is that it's like there's no real difference in the data being gathered by TikTok that isn't already being gathered by YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and every other fucking website we visit on a daily.
Mhm.
Like it really is all political because that really is not the reason. I don't believe that for a fucking second that they care anything about U.S. security.
Mhm.
It's like with most people I've already pointed out, this is not a tactic about protecting the freedoms of the United States citizens. It's all about the fact that people are getting messages out there and that cannot be policed as easily.
Mhm.
There are plenty of like with the Palestine-Israel thing going on right now, there's a lot of Palestinian voices that are being uplifted on the platform in a way that a lot of factions do not like. Because, oh man, it's kind of throwing the whole, everybody's been on Israel's side for the past God knows how long. And now all of a sudden in this day and age,
this conflict is not there's not as positive a light on Israel as it has been in recent years, up till recent years. And there's a lot more examples of that, of different resistance groups, protests going on around the world, different like uprisings, but like just a lot of like dissenting opinion that can't be squashed as easily as it used to be. And this is a step, at least for America, this is a step to start to control dissenting opinion.
Mm.
And that's what this is really all about. Mm-hmm. When you start banning the flow of banning forms of flow of information for the freedoms of your citizens, that's how you know you can start calling bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't ban this shit when it was about child sex trafficking, which is crazy to me. When it was fucking Musically, y'all didn't push this hard for a fucking ban. like it's crazy that was not considered a bannable offense, but here we are, because news is now being passed around in a uncontrollable way or an unregulatable way. Now it's time to take the power away from China. It's like, fuck off, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if this is something you like, I encourage anyone under the sound of our voices to look into this for yourself and make your own. None of us are lawyers. None of us have ever gone to law school. None of us has ever considered. Well, I can't say I didn't consider being lawyers. I know I never considered being a lawyer. That was never even a consideration of mine to be a lawyer. But none of us are legal representatives. We cannot tell you how to think, how to move, how to feel about any of this. Do your own research, look into it, see how you feel about it. But whatever you feel about it, like, do what you feel you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much about as far as I'm going to go. TikTok as a platform is incredibly, like, yes, it is important to us, more or less, if for nothing else than the fact as a promotion vehicle for this podcast. At the time of this recording, you wouldn't know it because I only have like 3 TikToks up, but don't worry about that. Maybe there'll be more by the time you get there. You'll never know.
But you might, maybe.
But you might, yeah.
If you have that bell, right?
But it's like, and it's not to say that there's never going to be other vehicles. Like, yeah, Instagram Reels is still going to be a thing. YouTube Shorts are still going to be a thing before and after this. But it's still a little fucked up that what is essentially, we don't even get to be pawns in this stupid ass game anymore. We're literally just like dust motes on the fucking board of chess that these political powers are playing.
Mm-hmm. The fact that they even on like, I guess the side, like on the app when you log in, if you hadn't seen this message yet, that the fact that they have that call now button is kind of wild.
Right.
That's been causing a lot of problems.
Oh yeah.
Because apparently people in the legislation have been getting these calls from people, from TikTokers. It's like, oh, if TikTok means this to me, that to me, don't sign the bill, don't do this.
Well, that's not a problem for Congress people. That's literally what this is for.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is for them, they're saying it's inconvenient because they are flooded with these calls. They have to turn their phones off.
Yeah, it's almost like, don't do it, you fucking weirdos.
It's funny though. I just thought that was funny. I think
we might be getting through to them.
Huh. So yeah, y'all heard it. It might be. Well, if you really don't want to bother your local Congress people, you shouldn't call them, I guess.
Don't inconvenience
if
your poor local Congress person.
Think of the Congress people.
They can't get any work done.
They can't get any of their work done. So, just keep that in mind, y'all. But yeah. It's a fun thing to always have to come around and deal with. Every time you think like shit's, they never let us have a break, do they? No. Every time you think like, okay, shit's cooling down for a bit. Nope.
That's why I don't read the news.
Yeah, blissful unawareness is definitely the route to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I kind of want to be again.
Ignorance sometimes
is bliss.
Is bliss.
Is bliss. But so we'll see where the fuck that goes. At this point, there's enough to worry about this fucking year. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into politics. Just for anyone who's outside of the U.S., just know that this is one of our election years, and therefore campaign trails are happening. And
The ads are starting.
The ads are starting.
Yeah.
The mudslinging is fucking ramping up.
It's gonna get wild.
If you don't live in the U.S., check in on your U.S. friends. We ain't doing okay. We're not doing good at all.
Yeah, just know that before you even try to check up on us. Just understand that we're probably not doing okay.
We're not.
Yeah, you don't even have to ask. Just ship over whatever it is you're asking or wanting to ask if you can ship. Just do it.
Look,
Just
ship me a green card, motherfucker. Like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Ship me citizenship to whatever.
A reverse green card or whatever is, however that works. Yeah. A plane ticket. Yeah. Ship a plane ticket to me so that we can.
Is Trump allowed? Do we know yet?
So Georgia dropped a case, but so of the 13 things that are kind of pending against him, a judge in Georgia dropped 3 of them. But his reasoning being is I actually agree with. His reasoning being the charges were so unspecific as to the point of being pointless. It's basically like I'm sending you to court for committing a crime.
Oh.
Like that's essentially what happened. Someone they put up like for violating like 3 of them basically came down to, and this I'm paraphrasing as fuck here. This is coming from like there's legal eagle videos y'all can go watch about this shit that explains it way better than like my synopsis of it. But my interpretation of it was basically 3 of the charges basically said he violated the Constitution and that was it.
Oh.
And it's like you realize the Constitution is a whole thing. Like you gotta pick
some more context.
Yeah. So even though they were dropped, they can probably be picked back up with just like more clarity. But there's also been like a lot of like just like really sloppy work from the prosecutor side of just like doing really stupid shit of like if you're talking about trying to take down a former president of the United States, this is really the time to start minding your P's and Q's, and they're just letting them bitches fly willy-nilly like a little bit. So it's just some weird slop going on, but also he's still like up for like 10 things, but like this whole Georgia case has been heavily focused on because Georgia allowed him to stay on their ballot. So technically he can still run, but the jury's still out, pun unintended, on whether or not he could even actually be president. I don't fucking know where that shit is anymore at this point. I really don't. I have no idea. Yeah. It's confusing. It's stupid that we're even dealing with it, but
yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a show.
It's gonna be a show. That is true.
A shit show.
But that is a shit show for another time.
Yes, sir.
It is late. I'm amazed my camera has not turned off yet.
An hour and 30 minutes.
All right, 2.5 hours.
We did go a full length.
For the most part, yeah.
Pretty much.
Let's get cut down. But as always, we love you guys. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Check out our other social media. I am still slowly but surely ramping up like social media posting. My next big thing is to start posting stuff to the Instagram and start forcing myself to do that. As well as I mentioned it earlier in the video. I'm not promoting the Patreon just yet, but know that if you hop in on Patreon, you could possibly lock in $1 a month Patreon for life once we get it up there. So keep that in mind as we continue to grow, as we continue to try to push more out of this podcast. You never know. You never know when this shit really takes off. You'll see. But yeah. All right. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching.
Don't worry too much about us. We'll get there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
I've never jumped from this lat.
Cat.
Have I?
Yes.
I
I have watched you jump. And as a matter of fact, one of the episodes I called you out on it.